Next is the Clockwork Motorsport car, the Ferrari in the AU Surumo colours, which is, I believe, the number 36 Super GT GT500 car. That is driven by Noah and Taras right now. Thank you very much. The Nexus Racing with a 3 is running a AMG GT3. That is the number 58, driven by Americans. I think we haven't had Americans in this championship for a long time. The options there are Sonic Marathon, Zophonius, and Awesome Gumball, and Squishy Dealer. Great names. It looks like it's Sonic Marathon, and that doesn't appear to be the livery that's meant to be there, which is quite annoying, because I checked all of them. Anyway, the livery they have on the 58 is definitely not that, unfortunately. The 59 is the second Nexus Racing car, driven by Zane Golfo, HOR Johto, It Wasn't Me, and State 509, who is here. So that one's loaded in. Love the green highlights on the top of the Gurney flap. That makes it quite nice. Green Hell Racing with S7R Hide, we've seen him before, and Quixie 10, that is the car at the leading of the pack. It is a Lexus. We are seeing the RCF GT3, the most ancient GT3 car that is still running in real life, once again making its return to the Green Hell for the S7R branded car, even though it's Green Hell Racing. And finally, the car that we were looking at the most, driven by The Shadow and Beetlejuice, it's the GT Finland Racers in the R8 LMS GT3 Evo 2. This car we expect to be very quick, but very sketchy. But we know that the GT Finlanders, they are very, very good at driving. They will make this sketchy car look incredibly safe, stable, and faster than it absolutely should be, because they're too darn good. So, qualifying, I believe, is half an hour, and we will see 3 timed laps with fuel burn on, tyre wear on. But we are starting with only 50 litres of fuel before the race, where the first stint of the race, I believe, starts with less, so 40 minutes qualifying, 40 minutes, apologies. Misread my notes. Thank you, Jaeger. So 40 minutes, we will see 4 timed laps here this morning. I believe it's the morning session at the Nürburgring. And, well, I've got to wait a bit for this outlap to conclude, because we're only 3 minutes into it. There's still a long way to go. Corner names are obviously particularly challenging around this part of the world. There are people who know them. There are certain ones I know, and I do not know enough of them. I go, it's the one after the squiggly bit, which is very helpful to my teammates when they're asking, what do you mean you're struggling in back corner, the one after the squiggly bit? They're all after the squiggly bit, except the one that's after the really long straight. But that one's just the last corner, so it's easy to remember. Anyway, I'm seeing a lot of our Italian friends on the entry list, so thank you to Tavernello, to DC Team, for bringing on everyone they know to make the NLS races so full. So in the past, we've always struggled with wanting multiple lobbies with these races, but we haven't been able to do it, and qualifying systems always felt a little unfair. So I'm glad that we're doing an NLS qualifying races. So top 7's Ryder will get you through to the 14 car Nürburgring 24 hours on July 10th through 12th. So a lot at stake here, and there are a lot of really, really good drivers. So, you know, Hide's been pretty quick. DRC Luciano, I think we've seen floating around. Fresh Stitchio, we've seen floating around. The Shadow, great name. Not sure if I've seen him doing mini races, because I stopped commentating the second half of last year. I don't think we've seen the DCT team nickname with Anton Larry. We've seen Lugi before. He is very, very quick. Prone to making key mistakes at certain times, so damage here will be an issue if he can avoid it. Oh, apologies, it is best 14 teams from NLS 1 and 2 based on overall time. It is not necessarily top 7, so you could win this race. No, you couldn't. You could finish 3rd in this race and find yourself out of contention. So the objective is not position, it is race time. Well, there you go, folks. So interesting changes. So it is very important to just get a clean race in and make sure you're not losing too much time fighting to the death over a position, because if you're in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th position, that could be the difference between making it in today and not making it after tomorrow. Lukey, very quick. Noir Antares, we've seen him around for far too long, but he's a very good, reliable driver. Not going to set headline times, but he is going to be there at the end of the stint and make you wonder where he came from. I don't believe we've seen State before, but it could be that his username is different to his nickname, and I've not seen it before. I'm sure we haven't seen Sonic before, or at least I haven't commentated him before. ISX LJNO is Italians, help, please. ISX is what I'm going to call him for now, because that's just all I've got. Tateoff, again, not one I've seen before, and Mr. T, TDR Mr. T17. Well, he's been brought out of retirement for the NLS races. Normally the man hosting things behind the scenes and forcibly being retired in order to be able to do those things, running the events. So he's normally not able to run himself while fielding teams, yes, but ultimately he does not drive for them. So it's good to see him back out of retirement here, heading up the Nürburgring. So what a way to come back out of retirement at the most fearsome track that we've got access to, the most punishing track, and that is going to be one of his cars at risk, really. If he can't get this one done here, coming out of retirement, is he a bit rusty? So that'll be a storyline to keep a hold of, but based on how much time he's let go off the start here, he knows what game he's playing, to just not worry about trying to get to the start-finish line, but get a nice clean air, nothing to worry about, and get good lap times. So now we start seeing cars coming around the end of the Nürburgring Nordschleife before hitting themselves onto the Dottinger Höhe straight, and then into the GP Strecke for the start of their first flying laps. It is correct, we have a few new teams and drivers in 2026, and a lot of old ones that I've seen too much of, doing more commentary than driving. But hey, everyone here is welcome, and if you can drive, you can drive, and it doesn't matter where you're from, what your car looks like. If you're fast, you're fast, and that's all we care about. Lexus getting pretty quick here. I believe all the stream information at the bottom of the screen is hidden by our overlays, so no one knows what top speeds everyone's doing, what tyre wear they've got, what fuel they've got. That's up to me to not reveal too much, but maybe suggest or hint at a few things before it is revealed aggressively with pit strategies and things like that. But for now, we'll just say that I'm very guilty of talking about all of those things far too much, because the strategy brain. But for qualifying, it shouldn't really matter. It's all about just going fast and getting one good lap time. That's all it takes to get track position here, and if you can hang on to that track position, you're going to be more likely to stay out of incidents and, well, just get that good race time needed to qualify. So, I so want to be on board, but the Australian latency just makes everyone a little too jittery. It looks okay from off board, but from on the board, it's just not ideal. From what I was hearing in the post-race chat, the race times people were looking at were low 8-minute lap times. Not necessarily 8:00, but I'm hearing 8:02, 8:03, 8:04, maybe possible at, perfect conditions. But right here, right now, we haven't got race tyres, we haven't got the mediums, we're on the soft tyres. So everyone who's been doing lots of race practice and hasn't done any qualifying testing doesn't know what their car balance is now that they're on soft tyres. So that could fundamentally change some cars from being a really nice race car to being a really understeer or oversteer race car. But for those that have done their homework, will they crack 8 minutes? Will we be seeing 7:59s, 58s, even 57s? I believe last time we were here, we did see some 7 minutes. And that was very impressive, considering we were on the full GP Strecke and Nordschleife combined. The cars, of course, are fully tuned this year. We do not have stock gearboxes. We do not have stock suspension. We do not have stock aero platform. Everyone has the ability to tune everything except their power and their weight values. Those power and weight values have been created as a custom BOP with the help of with the help of our good friend Philo from Philo Engineering and AMS Dude. They have put together a BOP that should, in theory, allow all the cars on track to compete at a very similar performance level with tuning enabled, as opposed to a similar performance with no tuning enabled, and then certain cars get way more performance when you start tuning. So this should be, in all honesty, it should be a fair fight as to who's done the best job with their teams, coming up with setup and strategy, and then the execution of those drivers again. So it's not just who's in the car right now, it's what's happened in the background with all the teammates making things happen. And as we see, Hide, easy flat there, down into Bergwerk. Bergwerk? Brunchen. Oh no, it's already happened. Anyway, excuse me. So that car looking very nice to drive already off the bat. A little bit of oversteer, understeer, but that's more a driver thing than you're going to see in terms of raw car performance. But we're seeing it just looks so planted. I'm sitting there wondering why my car doesn't feel like that. So a lot of testing is obviously going on here to make these things very, very quick. And I'll just start looking around and see who's got what going, because I've got no splits to work from. So that was 3 minutes 10.6 for Hide. The DRC Luciano 3:10.8, so he is 2/10 down here on this first lap. We'll cut back to Antonolario 3:11.5, not the quickest. Back to Shadow, it's 3:11.6, so Hide still the fastest man at the sector point here. It's a 3:12.0 for Fresh. I missed Duarantaras, he's too close to Fresh. We'll have to look at Lugi. Lugi with a 3:10.9. I think that's third quickest or second quickest now. Now we look at State 509. It's going to be a little behind. It's a 3:12.7. And Sonic is a fair way back here, but that's good, getting clean air. I'll catch up to Nuarantaras later because he should, in theory, be in dirty air already. Sonic Marathon here from America, 3:13.6 for the Nexus racing car. ISX for Rust Racing, that was Scuderia, 3:14.1, so made a mistake earlier in the lap. And now we see Mr. T coming up here to our reference sector point. Is he rusty? Is he quick? It looks okay. It's a 3:12.5, so not the fastest, but not too far away. And then we've got Tato, who I believe must have backed off hugely in the last part of the lap there to get some space. Isolino, thank you very much, Emmanuel. And the split is a 3:15.1. So back to the front. We'll get the sector split into or out of carousel. I think it's out of carousel. It's going into carousel. 4:56.0. So Hide currently the lap leader. Oh, running wide for 4:56.6. Lucian, not quite any closer. It's a 4:57.3. Antonolari, also very close. Shadow, 4:57.6. Everyone's close. What's Fresh got? Oh, running wide as well. It's a 57.2. It's a 55.6 for Nuarantaras. He might be quickest, but he will be in dirty air. 56.3 for Lugi, so it's 7/10 apart between that first and fifth. This is fantastic. State 509, 59.3. He's a couple seconds down, but remember, this is only lap one. We have much race, track, and qualifying to go. Remember, 40-minute session. We're only 14 minutes in, so plenty of opportunities to have another go at this. 5:003 for Sonic. Isolino now. It's also going to be a 5:08. So 50.8, sorry. I won't make him sound like he's 10 seconds off pace. We're only 4 seconds split, so it looks like there were mistakes early in the lap, and these guys haven't really gained or lost too much time since then. Oh no, Mr. T in the wall, as I say it. It's a 4:59.1, but no damage. He's got the hazards on, but no damage by the look. So he's got away with a brush with death here at the Green Hell. That rust. He'll be fine. He's got a few laps here to get through it, and then he's got ultimately this stint and the next with his teammate. And Tate off with a 5:03.8. I'll just check in on... Yeah, Noir is now right on the back of Fresh. He's going to need to get through here, or he's going to have to make it count on another lap, and he's on the lights. We're seeing racing in qualifying. It took 14 minutes, and we are away. It's the second lap, the first flying lap of qualifying. Oh, and he runs very wide. I think Fresh was a bit of lag, but I think Noir picked up some aero wash there and ended up flying wide, just like Verstappen did on that downhill Oh my lord, when the front end took off in the Nürburgring 24 hours and he nearly was in the wall. That was terrifying. And every one of us who's gone through there and found that little bump, wow, that was spooky. But he's now close enough to get a run down the straight. We'll see if his straight line speed is good enough to make that overtake. He should with the slipstream, but he might actually get there so early that Fresh comes back at him. 2 wheels in the dirt, maybe not for real. Noted Jaeger. Anyway, we'll see. Does he have the legs over Fresh? Should be able to run the hood camera. He doesn't have the legs in the slipstream. This is terrible news for Noir Antares. He needs to get past here, otherwise he's going to have to drop back and find some space for the next lap. Oh, it's just not gaining. It's just not gaining. He doesn't have the straight line speed. Hide with an 802.7 and then warps to the pits immediately. Luciano 800.14. So Hide made a mistake in the late. Straight away, Antonelli goes to a 759.8. Shadow near the 801.2. Noir Antares is going to have, oh my lord, even with backing off, a good couple of seconds. That's an 801.4. Wow. Fresh 802.0. Loogie 59.1 to go pole, provisionally. Looks like Fresh is going to bail out. We're going to see Noir Antares go for another lap. Who has stayed out? So, Lucian going again. I keep thinking Luciano for some reason. I've been watching too much Dakar. Oh, it's been a struggle here. We've got Hide going again as well. No, that's Fresh tyres. So he will be on an outlap here. But they were so far up the road, they were able to walk back to the pits and go again. So Yoza with 804, and then we've got 806 for Isolino. And Mr. T with an 805, he goes 9th. And we're still waiting for Tateoff to finish his lap. Not sure. What's he got to cover us off in the back half of it? He will be the slowest after the first lap, as the 806 has already elapsed. It is a 8-minute and 12.4 as a first lap. Whether he warps to the pits and gets a fresh set of tyres, we will find out, but we'll go and find someone who's still on. So Loogie still on it. So he has decided he will go for another lap on this set of tyres before trying again, potentially in the second half. Remember, you will need to start your lap with no later than 24 minutes to go. 25 minutes ago, sorry, because you have the cooldown at the end of the session to finish your lap. I believe it's set to a 3-minute countdown timer. Is that correct? Broadcasting god, Mr. Jaeger. Anyway, the point is you'll have to start an outlap at that point, apologies, and then you will have the ability to finish your next timed lap. So anyone on this lap now, in theory, can finish it, reset, and sneak out. Oh, it's 9 minutes of overrun. Okay, so long as you get back to the start line by 39 minutes and 59 seconds, you will be able to finish your flying lap. So these guys can finish this lap, start a new run, and do 2 flying laps. So, well, interesting. Now, of course, the penalty for resetting is that it gives you back the 50 litres of fuel. So you will always roll out on full fuel for the session. Loogie there, 1/10 up on himself, because he is purple against himself. Looks like Antonelli also out there. We'll come back to our reference. He's 6/10 down on himself here at the... Excuse me. Reference we were looking at previously. Lucian also running again. I've missed his point, unfortunately, because now we're no longer in running order, we're in qualifying pace order. Where's he? He's on fresh tyres, so we'll have to wait and see what he does. Slade's gone again. We've got Mr. T going again. Where's he in reference to his lap from last time around? I'm far too early. Oh, Oh, hang on there, my man. He's only 1/10 down on himself, so there is a big opportunity for him to improve there. And it's a second. It sounds like a lot, but here's a small change. And Lucian has reset to the pits. He's decided that he's not up. He's made a mistake. Bam! Give me a fresh set. Go again. He will get 2 more laps at the end of this one. If he does manage to finish it, if he manages to bail out again, he might get 1 more chance at a flying lap. So Lucian deciding the second lap, not worth it. So maybe there's something to be had here about Hide on his strategy of finishing 1 lap and immediately boxing for another one. Shadow 977, 2 seconds off the pole right now. 4th place. He's only 2/10 off his own reference and will go up towards the famous carousel on the long uphill run. And you sit there at the top of 5th gear going, why am I not accelerating? I need to pull 6th gear to save fuel, but I'm not accelerating. I'm stuck. I'm going slower now that I'm in 6th gear. And it's a very frustrating corner into... the name eludes me, but our nickname for it is cholesterol. That corner, the fast left-hander, the one that makes you feel like you're having a heart attack every time you hit it with any level of intent, because you have to hang on and hope the front end sticks. And when the wind is on, it moves around, and suddenly you understeer. That wall gets very close, very quickly, and it scares you. It genuinely scares you. My brain only just now recognizing that this is an Audi Quattro livery. Apologies to Shadow and the GT Finland racers. That is an excellent throwback livery. It was so good it didn't feel like one. But that is absolutely an Audi Quattro Group B Rally livery, and that is fantastically well done. Thank you very much. That is brilliant. Love your work. Now 4/10 down on himself. He needs to find 1.1 seconds to catch Lucian, and he's already 4/10 down. So unless he made a big mistake in the second half here, he's going to be unable to find that 1.5 seconds to gain a position. But there's no penalty for staying out here. He's only 2 minutes from home, and he can finish this lap, reset, start again if he really wants to. Ooh, he will get 2 laps still because... Or would he? Oh, it would be very close if he can get 2 laps or just 1. But we'll have to wait and see. One of my favourite things to say in commentary is we'll have to wait and see. And inevitably in endurance racing, we do wait and see. We go back to look at Loogie to see if he's on. He's still within 2/10 of his own time, so there is a chance for Loogie to improve on his 7:59.1, and he may not even be trying to just finish that. He may be coming in to grab a fresh set to then run around on a lower fuel level to try and improve his lap time down into the 58s, maybe even the 57s, starting from, say, a 30 litres of fuel or a 25 to aim at 1 more flying lap instead of starting from 50. Like they did in the first run, so that'll be the difference between the guys who have reset and the guys who haven't. They don't necessarily have to finish this lap and then reset. They could just come into the pits now, grab fresh tyres, and go again. Nürburgring is also still going. Let me quickly cycle through those who are going again. Mr. T also reset, fun fact. Hide on his outlap has overtaken... I'm sure there's one more. There it is. Antonelli, let's see how he goes at the end of this lap. Bit squirrely there. Does he improve or does he pit for the DC team? He pits. Clever move. Shadow now also pits. Nürburgring, will he pit or will he continue? Oh, looks like he made an understeer, went to the wall. He will not pit. He will go to the top. It's a 7:57.7, 1.4 seconds clear on a second lap. Wow, the Clockwork Motorsport car. That is very fitting for the number 36 AU Surumo Super GT car. What a lap time. He will have time. No, he has to reset now, I think. Because if he goes around again and does a pit stop, he will not finish his lap in time. He's finished his outlap in time to start another one, so he needs to come in and reset, or he will not get another timed lap. And he does. And he does. All right, so Luigi now on his outlap with about 30 litres of fuel. So his car is now 20 litres, which is about 15 kilos. Yeah, 15 kilos lighter. So how many times have you gone, oh, I'd love to just take 5, 10 kilos out of my car. I'd have been at the front of that race. So he's now starting this run with 15 fewer kilos. He will be mighty quick. Back in the days of refueling, the discussion with, say, Silverstone was 10 kilos of fuel was worth 0.4 of a second around the track like Silverstone. Times that by 4, that's 1.6 seconds. Now, granted, this track is more like timesing by 5, and a GT3 car isn't as weight sensitive as a Formula 1 car is, but that's still going to be something in the region of a second. So even if you halve that 0.4 to 0.2, and then times it by 5, he is going to be a second quicker on just fuel weight alone. And that's before you get on the fact that he's now on his second lap. He's going to have a better understanding of what he did right, what he did wrong, where was he too deep, where was he just a little bit too gentle, a little bit too soft, how he can improve his lap time this go around. So he will be quicker unless he makes a catastrophic mistake. This is, of course, a lovely throwback livery by the TDR team, the Track Design Racing team. I can't say what it is, but you all know what it is, because certain laws prevent certain words about certain products being said. But we all know what it is. Excellent work, Mr. T. Speaking of Mr. T, he's still on his late outlap. Who's starting one? I can't remember now who walked and who didn't. But we are 27 minutes in. There are 13 minutes remaining. Anyone starting this lap will finish it and get a chance at one more. The cutoff for resetting will be about 33 minutes, 30 odd seconds. Excuse me. At which point you will not be able to get around to finish an outlap and start a flying lap. I have to apologise to the, to the Scuderia Adriatic team. I think it's Scuderia Adriatic. No? Maybe? I've scared myself now. Sonic Marathon is... No, it's Nexus. Sorry, it's Nexus. Apologies. For their livery, which looks just like the state car, but with a 58 instead of a 59. For some reason, that livery has not loaded. So I will have to just show State 509 for a little bit longer to appreciate the livery they've come together. It reminds me of Craft Bamboo for some reason, but I'm not sure why. Really nice. Really nice colour scheme. I quite like... It feels like a modern GT3 car. It doesn't look like an art piece. It doesn't look like some, replica livery. It looks like a genuine GT3 livery, and it might be, but I just don't know because it looks so fitting to be a GT3 livery. So it appears that Mr. State is on a flying lap there, and he was up. I thought I saw by a good chunk of time on that split. So fantastic recovery for him, having his second lap. Australian driver. That's interesting to see more of those floating around in this competition. Normally the time zones are not friendly, but in LS1 it's a casual 7:30 in the evening in the East Coast over here, as opposed to a very early 8:30 in the morning 9:30 in the morning in the United Kingdom, which means it would be it'd be 10:30 in European states. So that wouldn't be so bad. The Americans though might be doing it tough. It's only 0.16. I thought it was 0.8. It must have been 0.1, not 0.7. So the Americans will be struggling. So Mr. Sonic Marathon, the other Adriatic car, if I could speak English, car, doing it tough here with what would have to be rather late. It's either midnight or 2 a.m. or something of that nature. So the ERF, genuinely a very global event with the participation, even on a relatively safe time zone. We're getting the whole globe represented. You'll see a much more interesting diversity, I believe, in NLS2, because their time zone on that one is a later time zone from now, which is more European, USA friendly. So we'll see a few more countries represented. Who was on it? It was, I think Hide was on one. He should be on a timed lap. Yes, he is. And he is up on his best lap. Will he be able to catch a fresh Stio in the... Oh, jeez. Such a great section. I think everybody who is comfortable with a Nürburgring loves the run from carousel down to mini carousel. All the medium high-speed corners, full commitment, absolutely no room for error. And if you make an error, you say hello to Barry R. And he's now purple by a 10th. So it looked like he was down, but it must have been down not to himself, but to the absolute best reference. Now, that is not what I thought the reference was showing us, but he's now purple by 1/10. Hide on here from his 8:02.7. He's matching a 7:57.7. That is 5 seconds quicker. That's very, very impressive. So, will he be able to close this out? And now he's only back to 5/10 up. So he must have made a mistake in the final sector, because he was very quick at every reference until we saw him at the end of the lap, and he was only in 8:02. I think he made a mistake either at carousel, mini carousel just here, or it can't have been the final corner. That would be a criminal mistake. Using all the road, it popped out of the banking a little early and sent him wide, but he didn't quite make the grass there. It looks like it because of my latency, but ultimately he would have been right up to the edge there, hanging on, but it's qualifying. Make it count. And that's what he's doing. We'll see a reference here. Is he up or is he within striking distance? It's 2.7 seconds. It was a mini carousel error, so that will put him basically on the cusp of 8 minutes dead, which will be where Lucian and Antoniolari are. Just gotta wait. Antonio porta il tricolare in alto. No hablo. 4.3 seconds up. So he made a couple of errors, but maybe he got damage. So Hide got damage. He's 4-something seconds up. This is going to first or second. Incredible lap, his first lap. Only 5/10 quicker, but he's avoided the errors, and he will go onto the front row here. It is a 7-minute and 57-second lap. 0.9, it's only second place, 2/10 away, 0.187. That's very unfortunate for him, but great lap time, great result. So we're in the 57s. Will we see a 56 then of this? He now cannot reset though. He has committed to this second lap, and it's either good enough or not. We'll go on board with Lugi. And we can see in the background was Nuaren Torres stalking, but he was only on an outlap. But Lugi on a fast one. No, he's reset again. Oh, sorry, I saw red twice. Sorry, I thought he was on a fast lap. It's not red twice. He didn't reset. He pitted. I apologise. That's kind of the thing I'm normally better at. Antonolari, starting his last flying lap, did not improve. He also has a fuel advantage, so he pitted last time around? Maybe? Yeah, pitted last time around. Lucian is on his lap. This will not be his final lap. He will get another lap after this. So, Isolino. I'll look at that in a second. Let me just see the reference when we come through, and I'll go find Isolino. Oh, it's quick. He's only up 2/10 on himself, but that'll put him into the 59s, and that's where you need to be. If you're in the 7-minute bracket, you are with the big boys. It will not be that far apart. Isolino. Oh. Sorry, I just saw Fresh's new username, sorry, his new nickname, as he puts the Tavernello car into 6th on an 800.9. Not enough for the top two rows, sorry. But anyway, Isolino, he's on the back straight. He will start his final lap with a almost brand new set of tyres and a very empty fuel tank. This is going to be his final chance when he crosses the line to start his best lap. It's 8:06 right now, but he'll have a very light car and he has very good tyre quality. So he's obviously taken his time on this out lap and just looked after it, knowing that there was only this lap left. Sonic Marathon is on his lap. He will sneak around, I think, for one more run in the Nexus racing car. His lap time here, I think it's up. It's 7/10. No! ISO's done! Oh, no! He's warped to pits here. Either made a mistake or thought he couldn't finish it. But anyway, Sonic is up and State goes to an 8:02.8, 5 seconds off the pace, but it's still a very respectable lap time in the other Nexus racing car. So that's the second time that State has taken the thunder away from Sonic Marathon. State, though, does have an opportunity to finish this lap and go again. Hide now backs out as well. He's done. He's obviously made a mistake after that. After made a mistake, or he's given up, decided it wasn't possible. Mr. T on his final lap. Oh, in theory he could sneak another one, but I don't know if he'll get it. So we're running out of contenders here. Excuse me. So, reminder, the people on their final laps, we've got Noir Antares, we have Lugi for track design racing, we have Antonellari for, excuse me, I've just eaten, for the DC team, still attacking for a final run. Lucian will get one more lap after this if he wants it, but we'll stay on board and keep an eye on this lap to see if it is the lap that will take him quicker than 5th place. He's only 3/10 behind Antonellari for 4th place to get on that second row and potentially just a little more breathing room in the race. Through the sector split under the bridge, he's 2/10 down, but is he 2/10 down on himself or 2/10 down on the fastest lap overall? Rust Racing team. Where does he place the number 10 Mercedes AMG? It is... Oh, it is 2/10 slower than himself with another 8:00.4, but he gets one more opportunity. Fresh Secure for Tavanello. He is on this lap, and this will be his last. He is on a second lap, reminder, so he does not have the best quality tyres compared to some of the guys who are still on their final lap. Let's see the reference. He's 2/10 down. We'll have a look at Shadow. He has started his final lap, and he has started it very, very late with a fresh set of tyres, but a full tank of fuel. He did not take tyres on the road. He has had to reset to try and make this happen, but he will finish in 8 minutes' time, so we'll be 45 minutes through qualifying before qualifying is over. State 509 is now done. AO 2.8, and at best, P8 for him. I think Mr. T and Sonic Marathon are probably the only ones who can pass him. Mr. T, in theory, could sneak one more lap if he was able to do so. Sonic Marathon for the Nexus Racing team. Coming across the line here. Does he improve? It looks like he will improve. He will go forward, but how far? 8:04.8. He goes up to 9th. Just pipping TDR, Mr. T, and Isolano. Tateoff is done. He's come in with damage and has decided that he is not going quicker. So the Scuderia Adriatica car will start the MLS number 1 from 12th place. Let's see who's at the end of the lap. Apologies, I can't find who it is. Here we go. It is TDR Mr. T. He will be the first man to cross the line. Oh no, he'll get another lap. So he will not be the first man to cross the line and take the checkered flag. But he will need to improve. He now only needs 1/10 of a second to take back the position 9 he was in. He needs 2.2 seconds if he wants to take P8. And the timer says he's 2.9 up. He's on. He is on target here to put himself right in touch with State 509 in 8th place for the Track Design Racing team. The man who's running the series, coming out of retirement, he's under pressure right now. He's just got to execute this last corner, make sure nothing silly happens, and put himself in contention. A little bit slower down the straight. How does it pull up at the end of the long Dottinger-Hurler straight? Oh, a little wobbly, a little slow, a little bit coasting, uncertain on the throttle. Finally locks into 100% throttle. All the revs, and towards the start-finish line. 8:01. 8:02.2, it's good enough to steal back position 8. And if he wants it, he can have another lap, but by the look, he's done. So he will finish up no better than 8th place, and we'll go back up the road. That's always the wrong way. I always pick the wrong direction. And we go to Antonellari. Apologies. Emmanuel with the Scuderia Adriatica Master Plan. Oh, and he's dropped it through mini carousel. Antonellari is done. That's such a shame. That was going to be an absolute ripping lap time. But it hopped out of the mini carousel and then dirty tyres, and he's in the wall and he's got damage. It's officially his final lap and he's done. We'll go back to Loogie in the track design 911, flat out with 2 wheels in the grass. He hangs on. What has he got? He's purple, 6/10 up. R.A. Loogie is on for pole position in the second TD track design racing car. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the final lap of qualifying. He's looking at 7:57.0. Can it be a 7:56? That's what low fuel gets you. I said he'd be quick, just on fuel alone. It's only 5/10, so not as good of a run. Down the straight, lost a bit of ground, but now he's got a little bit of traffic. It's part slipstream, part dirty air. Will it stop the way he wants? Little squirrel in there, not too deep, straight to full throttle. First gear, second gear, using very long first gear there, but pin throttle all the way. It's quick. It's a 7 and 57.124. Pole position, provisionally, by 6/10, because the man who might take it off him, it's CWM Nairo Antares. What has he got? So it's a 7 minute, it's a 7:55.6. He has destroyed the field by 1.4 seconds. Holy moly. Anyone else? It's just fresh on the back straight here. So pole position currently, Nairo Antares with the Ferrari 296. Incredible lap time there, 1.4 seconds. Oh, I've just noticed Fresh has got damage. Front aero and right front damage, sorry. And he will not improve, I don't think. So he's done. That leaves the last man to start a flying lap. It's Shadow 977 for GT Finland Races. He's 7th now. Only needs 3/10 to pass Fresh, Sitio, and the DC team. He's up 2/10. There's a chance. The session is not over. The third row is not solved. We are still in flux. Top nothing is sorted, because anything is still possible from the GT Finland races. And we're going to see a lot of this Audi livery for the next 3 minutes. Oh, running a little wide there, but keeping the throttle planted. And Storm CW saying, sweet Jesus, what a pole. What a lap for pole. That is a very quick time. I'm very surprised at seeing 7:55s. I thought at best 58s. When I saw the 57s earlier, I thought that's about all they've got. Then Loogie's 57.1 made me think, maybe 56.8? I did not have 55.6 clocked in. But remember, the BOP is built around the medium and hard tyres. It is not built around the soft tyres. So potentially, the soft tyre plays to certain cars better than it has played to other cars, as well as who's done the work doing a qualifying setup. So that is not necessarily how the race will play out. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is qualifying is not entirely indicative of race pace, because there will be a tyre compound change. And anyone running a particularly low downforce setup will benefit a bit more from having tyre grip on side compared to someone who's got a lot of aerodynamic and mechanical grip already, whereby their car will not improve by as much. So Shadow, through that final complex, onto the Dodingerhoe straight, still 1/10 up. He needs to find 0.15 to try and sneak onto the third row to catch Fresh Sitio with an 8:00. And unfortunately for him, he can't push the throttle pedal any harder to get any more speed. He will be just at the will of his left foot when he comes to brake at the bottom of the hill. Loves the engine note. Brakes deep, gets it stopped, gently applies the throttle, gets to 100% pretty confidently, using all the road, holds it straight. Gets towards the line. It is 8 minutes and 0.836. He's done it. He's pulled 3/10 in the final corner in order to pip the Tavernello racing car to 6th place. So GT Finlanders sneak their way up into 6th place with an 8:00.8. That is a really good bit of driving under pressure. Only knowing he was only 1/10 up, knowing he needed 3/10, he has nailed the last corner to perfection, found 3/10 in one braking zone, and stolen a position on the grid, which could be all critical when it comes to the race. Turn 1, lap 1, getting stuck in someone else's crash. He could have just avoided that with this excellent bit of driving. Well done, the Shadow 977. So now we wait for the people, I guess, in the pits to finish. We'll go through the order. It is the Clockwork Motorsport, Citroën Narantaras, on pole with a 755.697. It is the Track Design Racing number 4 with ERA Lugi with a 757.124. We can't really see the Green Hell Racing livery of S7R Hide 64, but his 757.9 puts him third place. He is 8 tenths away from the guys in front, 2.12 lead, but he is a good 2 seconds clear of position 4 with Antonio Lari, 92 for the DC team. I've always called them the DCT team for some reason, but that's not calling them the ATM machine, so apologies to them. But they are 4th place, which it's been a real theme of the DC team lately, is they have been very, very strong in these races. We always have a bit of fun with them, but they have been very competitive lately, and I'm very glad to see it. We've now got in 5th place, DRC Lucien DDU-CT. Again, we are unable to see the livery for the Rust Racing team, the number 27, but well done to them for getting into the top 5. At this moment in time, that would be enough. We don't know how quick tomorrow's NLS2 will be in order to sort out our grid. As we saw, the GT Finlanders stealing 6th place at the absolute death there, away from the Tavernello Racing Ferrari 296 with Fresticchio. The number 3 track design racing car with Mr. T himself, as well as the unliveried for some reason. So the liveried State 509 for the Scuderia Atlantica. The 59, sorry, Nexus Racing. Sorry, I'm so completely confused. Nexus Racing. Sonic Marathon and the unliveried Nexus Racing car is starting behind his teammate. We're sort of falling away in terms of lap time, but he had more in him, as did Isolano, who obviously made a mistake there and has ended up in 11th place. For the Scuderia Adriatica Motorsport in the BMW M6. And we've got Tatov rounding off the field in the number 54 other Scuderia Adriatica Motorsport. But, reminder, qualifying isn't everything, and we will see how the racing goes, because at the end of the day, it's race time, that's all that matters. I'm getting a direction to reset the stream to try and fix the livery for the Sonic Marathon car, the AMG of Nexus Racing. So I'm hoping I can get Jaeger to put some sort of overlay up to hide the part where I leave the lobby and come back. Oh, Mr. Rob Schaller, good to see you, my man. I am doing great, and I'm glad that you're still floating around, as your endurance races before the Endurance Racing Federation kicked off provided everyone a lot of fun and got everyone really hooked on this again, and I'm glad to see everyone's back doing endurance racing. Can we have a car on track? There we go. Jaeger! Do we have any graphics to show? And a good morning to you, Squishy. I will just hop out of the lobby and come back. We are now just in the procedural system. We see the tyres have been changed from softs to hard and medium. So that will be the allowed tyres for both NLS races and the Nürburgring 24 Hours in 2 weeks' time. For the NLS races, because we are doing timed results to find the top 14 qualifiers for the Nürburgring 24 Hours, there will be no weather, there will be no wind direction, so that the conditions across both races shall be equal. Or at least as equal as they can be in Gran Turismo, because Uranus was in retrograde, so the track temperature was 3 degrees lower for some reason. No one understands it, but it's as close as we can get to them being entirely equal. But I don't think the differences are going to be all that much with equal conditions on, no wind direction, same time of day settings, same weather slots. So we will see what that looks like for NLS 1 today, and it will be very, very similar to that again tomorrow in NLS number 2, with a completely different host of teams and drivers. And this time we have the livery for the Nexus racing car of Sonic Marathon. The number 58 finally being displayed, and as I said, it looks just like the other Nexus racing cars, so they've got both cars in this race, which is a bold strategy to field both their Nürburgring 24-hour car hopefuls in the same NLS race. But if they can work together, they can, in theory, spend less time in the pits, they can spend less time fighting other cars, and they might be able to get through by being quick with both cars today, and hope that things go wrong for those tomorrow. And if you're just joining us, we have finished qualifying. The order is being set before we begin race proceedings. In order to start the 4-hour NLS race, but it is of course 2 2-hour stints calculated via a lap count, which means that we should end roughly in time for the 2-hour stint to end, to then put us into the second stint on a different lobby. So right now we are running 2 lobbies. So these are live driver swaps. There is no hit the checkered flag, reset, calculate results. No. It's you come into the pits, the car is in the air, and your teammate drives off in another lobby. We do live driver swaps. We'll be seeing 1 driver swap for 2 drivers to get through 2 hours each for a 4-hour race for NLS 1. As you can see, the calendar for the year, we've got today, June 27, NLS 1. Tomorrow, June 28, NLS 2. On the 10th of July, we have the Legends of Nürburgring in the Group C cars, which is going to be fantastic. The Endurance Racing Federation has had a great time with those cars, punishing them for 24 hours. And then we will see the Nürburgring 24 Hours, the race we are qualifying for now, July 10 to 12. A bit of a gap until October, but then we will do the WSPC, which is of course the World Sports Cars in Japan, with the legendary Suzuka 1000 as a warm-up event. Yes, that's right, a 6-hour tin-top, supremely quick car race is a warm-up for the 6 hours as well. I don't think it'll actually be a 1000k race. If it is, I have not read it. I haven't read it fast enough to notice that it is actually a 6-hour race as a warm-up for a 6-hour race, which would be incredible. We did actually do the Legends race as a 6-hour race back the last time we did that a few years ago. So that is a reappearing Legends race. So Legends races, of course, are support races that are using historic race cars rather than modern machinery, generally in the theme of the event. So last year we had some really interesting historic race cars for the Nürburgring race. We're seeing Group C cars, sorry, Super GT cars at Suzuka in Japan. Alrighto, so the formation lap. I don't remember if it's a full formation lap or if it's only part way through the GP Strecke, or the Grand Prix course, before racing begins. I need to remember these things. Oh, State getting on the curb, having an interesting time there as everyone begins to ready up. Oh, sorry, all of the defaults went back to defaults, unfortunately. Apologies, everyone. It is a full formation lap. I'm being fed, and so that is a 60 mile an hour or 100 kilometers an hour formation lap, which, based on my knowledge of time over distance, means we're going to be here for something in the region of 14 or 15 minutes, which is about 2 racing laps. So important to leave 2 car lengths, I believe, is still the rule. You need to have a minimum of 2 car lengths between you until the formation point. So unlike Formula 1, where we're saying stay within 10 car lengths, we're saying no, stay away from 10 car lengths, because at low speed, the weird jitteriness on latency just causes silly incidents, and people who are doing nothing wrong end up getting lag damage, and then they have to start the race with damage or pit on the very first lap. And that's frustrating. But it's good procedures here at ERF. We've seen enough things, we've made enough rules to then get around that, and we should see some clean racing when we go racing at the end of a very, very long formation lap. The drivers have to organise themselves. So all cars with full fuel right now. As everyone sort of gently moves away and they all sort out who's in what order. Of course, it will be Noir Antares leading away from pole and straight into top gear to save as much fuel as possible. It's how it is for every driver. Lugi coming from second. We'll see Hide from third. Lucian will not be from fourth. It'll be Antonolari and Toniolari. I keep going Antonolari. I just keep cutting off the I in the middle. Apologies to the DC team. And Antonio, the Lucian, the DRC Lucian, apologies. Not for the DC team, but for... I just realised that number 10 is not in the Spotter's Guide. It's actually meant to be 27, according to the Spotter's Guide. Anyway, Lucian driving for the Rust Racing team. I wonder if they've got 2 cars in this event, and he might be driving for the other car. So he's got 2 liveries look the same, but a different car number. Or it could be an error. We can blame Mr. T. Between you and me, let's blame Mr. T. Yep, Barrick saying it happened to me on a formation lap getting damaged, and this is how it goes. Shadow for GT Finlanders coming in, starting from 6. Tavanello. I'm a bit surprised by Tavanello being 7, but it's also Tavanello, so they just appear near the front. It's just how it is. You don't notice them. They're just sort of hanging out, and then suddenly they're near the front. And you go, where do they come from? How did that happen? Are they quick? Where are they quick? We haven't noticed yet. They're very good like that. They just sort of appear near the front and start scaring you towards the end of the race to try and steal your podium. Lovely black and gold livery. And then you've got Mr. T starting from 8th. From what I can work out is his first racing start in the ERF in a good couple of years. Wiping the wiper in acknowledgement, I guess, of being on stream. 9th place in the Nexus racing car is State 509. Ahead of his teammate Sonic Marathon in the 58 Nexus racing car. You can actually see back to back, you've got the fluoro green on one car and the fluoro yellow on the other to try and make identifying them just that little bit easier for the pit crew, who will never have to worry about it. You can see they've got the highlights around the grille, the highlights on the wing mirrors, the highlights on the gurney and the top of the end plates of the rear wing. That's good design. That's the kind of thing real race teams do, and it looks fantastic in-game. Well done to the Nexus Racing team for putting out excellent liveries that do all the right things. Before we go back to Isolano in the Scuderia Adriatica BMW M6, should have been a quicker lap time, could have been a higher position, but unfortunately seems to have made a mistake and managed to not get their best lap on the board. But that's fine, we've got a whole 2 hours of racing to go, and because this is a lap count race, it doesn't matter how slow the formation lap is. The formation lap could take half an hour. We would still get 16 racing laps in, which should take about 2 hours at 8-minute laps. Do the maths, ladies and gentlemen, and that is exactly 2 hours. Not quite, it's a little bit longer. It's about 2 hours and 8 minutes. So it's 15 racing laps because they come into the pits. Apologies. So it is exactly 2 hours. at 8 minutes. If only I could count. Thanks, Jaeger. You've corrected me after I've corrected myself. No worries. If only I could count. We do the complicated strategy thing, but counting 1, 2, 3, 4, too difficult, can't be done. And off the rear of the grid is the other Scuderia and Adriatica motorsport car, the AMG GT3 Evo this time, with Tate off at the wheel. Loving the, unfortunately mandated, but it looks great, the endurance fog lights in the bottom part of the car. It looks so good with those in there. It makes it feel like, no, we're not just racing a GT3 car, we're racing at a place where anything can happen. We just need as much light as possible. We don't care about the 2 kilo weight penalty. We just need more light. We need to make things happen, make it a little bit easier. And I was so sad when a friend of mine had to remove them on the Saturday night after qualifying before starting the Bathurst 12 hour. And he described the experience as, it was fine when I was following someone, and then I passed them, and then I realised I couldn't see anything at all because the car in front of me was now so far ahead that my headlights were not bright enough at 5:30 in the morning at Bathurst in February. And yeah, he went, next year I'd really like if we kept the lights in, thanks. And they duly went, no, we want the 2 kilo benefit. So, unfortunate for him, as he had to start both of those races. But in the end, he didn't crash in either of those stints, and hopefully no one here crashes on this formation lap or on lap 1. It is, of course, a bright, sunny day in Germany, in simulated Germany. I was going to say not a cloud in the sky, but we can't see the sky to confirm there might be a wisp of something hiding away to say that there's no clouds in the sky. But it is, of course, a lovely, beautiful, bright day. No chance of rain, equal conditions, not even a hint of wind. So when your driver goes wide and he says, oh, it's the weather conditions that are wrong, it's not the weather conditions that were wrong. I had a engineer on the simulator listening to their driver complain about a car that won't turn, and he's looking at the live data trace and he quietly says, just brake earlier. So it's, you know, it's never really the car's fault. It's always the driver's fault. The driver will find a way. A good driver will find a way to blame the car, to blame their opponent, to blame a marshal, to blame anything but themselves. And based on that logic, I must be the greatest driver in the world, because it's never my fault when something goes wrong. It's always something else's fault. So we're just cycling through, everyone trying to keep heat in those medium tyres. So in the past, when we've done this with soft tyres, it was a lot easier to fire up the tyres in the last half of the lap, meaning you could sort of get away with not wearing them too much on the outlap. But with the mediums and the hards, it is so much tougher to get temperature back into them. Thank you very much, Storm. We can see, here's confirmed, there are clouds in the sky. I repeat, clouds confirmed. It is not a cloudless day, it is a lightly cloudy day. This is a huge development in the racing for the NLS number 1, for the Endurance Racing Federation. A qualifying race for the Nürburgring in 24 hours. Anyway, just having a quick look through. Some cars do have blue outlines on their tyres, so we're starting to see tyres cooling out, and we're not even halfway around the lap. So tyre wear varying and temperatures varying. It's going to be a very sketchy first couple of laps for a few people. Just having a look at tyre compounds, making sure nobody's doing anything a little bit different or something to keep an eye on later. But for the most part, we're just looking at the very secret and covered up by the leaderboard there for the top 3 cars. Clockwork Motorsport represented by I'm just trying to read the logos. It was Ferrari under 56, and then the Porsche in the number 4, and the Lexus in the number 64 for the top 3. That will be updated live throughout the race, thanks to our broadcast director, Jaeger, a man who's done a really good job behind the scenes to make the broadcast of these events so seamless for many years, and in recent times has come up with even more ways to do that. And I just want to say a big thanks to him for making these broadcasts go as well as they do, because without them it takes away that sense of community, and having guys all in the chat together watching their race, not just talking to their own driver, looking at the looking at what they're telling me, they're watching the whole race. They know what's going on. It makes everyone feel like they're part of something a lot bigger. So thanks so much, Jaeger, for making these broadcasts as good as they are, allowing us all to get that real-life racing experience from a video game in the comfort of our own homes. Of course, I've got to say thanks to Mr. T himself for going around and actually bothering to host these things and copying all the criticism when criticism comes and shrugging it off and going, I'll make it, I'll go again, I'll make it better, we'll change what we have to change, we'll just keep hosting these races because they're too much fun. And they are really a great time. So thanks to the guys organising everything. Without them, we don't have any racing to do, and I'm so glad that we're back this year with the Nürburgring 24 Hours. We're doing a Legends race, we're doing World Sports Cars with the new LMDH, LMH cars from Ferrari, BMW, Peugeot, and I've missed one, Porsche, of course, which of course is now no longer in WEC, unfortunately, but they'll probably end up coming back because Porsche can't stay out of racing for more than 5 minutes, as we see with their lovely 911 GT3. Enjoying these liveries. I'm very happy to see the Nexus Racing boys with those lovely matching liveries, slight variances to make you can tell which car is which, but not to the point where you can say, oh, they're totally different liveries. It's just a good touch. A lot of teams, I assume, will have done a similar thing across the two NLSs, not necessarily fielding both cars here today. TDR obviously have, with Mr. T in 8th and Loogie up in 2nd, both running Porsche Raceborn throwback liveries. One that I can name, but I probably shouldn't. The other that I can't name because I am uncultured in the way of Porsche. But if someone pointed out to me, I'd go, oh yes, of course, that one. Anyone? Oh, okay, sorry, probably we've missed a few people in the chat. We've got Gele Kremer with Hello, good old Pastina Calder with a yo, it's the Pasta Man, and of course Shala89, who hosted endurance races many years ago and hosted a whole series of them before we started coming here to the ERF, the Endurance Racing Federation, to do all of our fun endurance racing over 24 hours, live driver swaps. One of the biggest things that we have going for the ERF is those live driver swaps across multiple lobbies. It just keeps the racing flowing in a way that segmented races don't. And as much as that was what we could do at the time because we didn't have the hosting power, they were still good fun even when we had those segmented races, because you finished your race and you raced to the line and then you crashed mentally, took a nap, came back and did it again. Come on, Rob. Get the AXR boys up in here. Field a team, mate. Field a team. There's still time for NLS 2. You can qualify for the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Get the boys going. Come on, son. Squishy saying it's a 917K livery. I'm pretty sure I saw... What was it? They made a new car that was a reference to, I believe, that 917K livery using this, but I didn't know what the original material was. So referencing the reference is not the correct answer for me. We'll have to annoy Mr. T long enough that he pauses in the chat to tell us, pauses racing in his pit stop to tell us in the chat what the livery is meant to be. It will probably be annoying him greatly to find out that I don't know what it is, because he is such a livery-ophile. He loves his classic liveries. He loves getting all those tiny intricate details exactly perfect on his recreations. So seeing someone not know the name of the darn thing would be eating him up inside after he's gone to all that work to create something that should be easily referenced. He was driving straight for a bit there, so I thought maybe he's got one hand on a keyboard trying to type out a name, but unfortunately he's gone back to weaving. We are nearing now the Göttinger Höhe and the formation point, where we will go too wide for the finally start of the first NLS race. We've already been here going now for on an hour with qualifying and now the formation lap and all the bits in between. I've still got to commentate for 2 hours. I haven't even started the stint yet. my poor voice is going to be completely ruined by the end of this. So we'll skip up towards the front, have a look at who's got what kind of tyre heat going, what kind of tyre wear. All the boys at the front looking like they've got warm tyres and not really that much wear, so somehow the best of the best managed to keep temperature and not run out. Someone spun in the background. It's Lucian, and he's got damage. I don't know if he's hit someone or if he's spun by himself, but Lucian for the Rust Racing team has front bumper damage, front splitter damage I should say, and he's going to need to either pit or carry that damage until he makes his pit stop. Oh jeez, everyone sort of stopped weaving and then had weaving, and oh no, that's a bit of a mess. Not ideal. He's going to have to struggle to get his way back through to his starting point. I'm not sure what his plan is, but we'll go to the front because the form-up point is not far away, and when we hit the form-up point we are down to seemingly 80 kilometers an hour, and weaving is now prohibited. The boys at the back need to catch up and get into position, as there's a bit of a gap there from 5th to 6th. 1, 2 and 3 have got the message. Antonelli for 4th has not, but he's got plenty of time to catch up. He's already there now 5th and 6th, so hopefully no one gets a particularly aggressive rolling start here from a long way back in the pack. They need to get up there and get down to speed. Alrighty, we are soon to go green into the restart zone, or start zone. And we're away! Racing for NLS1 for the Endurance Racing Federation has begun. Noir Torres streaks away into the lead ahead of Lugi and Hide. No changes there. Antonelli. Now Hide going 3 wide with Shadow, and that's a lag bump. No damage. Tavanello's in there. Oh, Green Hell Racing, DC team. GT Finlanders, TDR, and the next racing team, all in a massive bundle, but it looks like it's Antonelli for DC team that comes out ahead in 3rd place. The fight for 4th between Fresh Sitchio and the Shadow. It looks like the Shadow for GT Finlanders gets ahead of Tavanella Racing. So that's 4 and 5 looking sorted. Not really, because Mr. T and the Green Hell car are side by side down into the hairpin. Looks like, well, a little bit of lag there from Hide, but he was very quick. He will be very much up and inside. Keeps it ahead of Mr. T, who's up to 7th. Sonic Marathon up to 8th. State Povo 9 up to 9th. So going great for them for the Atlantica team. Oops, I'm seeing dust in the distance. Looks like everyone still in one piece, but he runs wide Hide, and that lets Mr. T through. He'll be ruining that. He's made a couple of errors here on lap 1. Well, not really. He got pushed out and lost some positions, and then the whole field mobbed him. He's down to 7th. Nothing crazy going on here, but he's now under threat from the Adriatica, the racing team, Scuderia Adriatica. Sorry, I'll give them their full name. Sorry, helps if I can actually point right on. And not quite making the move. We've got the 2 Scuderia Adriatica cars going at it, 58 and 59. Sonic Marathon jumping State 509, who is in combat now. Oh, wall being bouncing around. His damage holding him up. He gets past State 509 with a bit of pinball action and rubbing. State 509 with damage now on the front right, so he might have hit the wall after pinballing off with lag. I don't think that was malice, but he's now going to have to fight through damage, same as Lucian. Isolano, though, staying clean. He's going to have to pick these 2 off and get on with getting on with it with a clean car. His team needs to be in the radio telling him that those guys ahead have damage, and he has to pass them or he will be being held up. And we see the second, excuse me, I thought it was the Adriatica. It's not, it's the Nexus. No, it is Adriatica, apologies. That's the second Adriatica car. At the back there. Also has to get through, but importantly though, staying clean. Go back towards the front, and we see Hide now on the charge. Can he make the move past Mr. T? No, he cannot, but Sonic Marathon going with them. So Sonic Marathon, much, much better here in race trim than he was in qualifying. keeping up with the leading pack. They're 5 seconds down now, but they all seem to be within touching distance for 8 cars. That's less than 1 second per car after 3 minutes of racing. That of normal track is a lap and a half, so we're in touching distance with the dirty air. Mr. T doing a great job here in race trim to keep up with the leaders and also keep Hide behind him, who was a very, very quick qualifier. Seems to lose a bit of ground in a straight line here, so maybe not the best in the straights, but a really good car in the corners. Many years ago, that was a contending car for the Nürburgring 24-hour win. I believe it was in the fight on the final lap to win the race. So competitive on previous BOPs, but as with every year in the real Nürburgring 24 hours, the BOP changes. Hopefully the field spread is not too large. He says, as we go to Lugi to see that he is 1.2 seconds behind Laurentares, which is not unreasonable, just staying out of dirty air, but he's already 2.8 seconds ahead of Antonio Lari, who appears to be starting to form a bit of a train, so maybe not quite adjusting to the medium tyres just yet. And yes, Pastino Calder, yes, notice, that is Mr. T Racing. He is out of retirement and on the track and keeping up with the top 3 group. So 3rd through 8th, all in one group. And he is doing the job after qualifying probably below his expectations, but he's made a couple of spots off the start and is making it happen. And that is already my favourite race ever, says Pastino Calder. He's not even in it yet. Yes, there's a DCT team. Yes, there's a Tavanello team. But Mr. Pasterman himself is not sharing the track with Mr. T, therefore, how can it be the best race ever? And we see Hide now getting right onto the bumper of Mr. T, but choosing not to throw a lunge into the high-speed left-hander that I always call cholesterol, because it feels like you're having a heart attack when you try and attack that corner at 230 kilometers an hour, running a bit wide in the background was Sonic Marathon. Unfortunately, I don't have a timing spread to just keep everyone up to date. It'd be really nice if we had a timing tree in game from, say, live timing or something that I could just quickly pop into, but unfortunately not. Anyway, we'll just have a look forward. We see Fresh getting a much better run over the shadow in the carousel, but unfortunately it's come out to a section of the track where overtaking is virtually impossible unless your opponent makes a mistake. This whole section, it's all medium high-speed corners, it's all dirty air, so you're trying desperately to keep up so you can stay within touching distance to try and make a run down the Dodingerhoe. That look at Mr. T having a sideways moment, that's inviting Hide to throw a lunge as we come to what we all know is the YouTube section of the Nürburgring, where people in E36s crash almost daily for our entertainment. Not theirs, obviously, but for our entertainment, as people just film it all day long waiting for that bloke to come through and make a mistake. That section, so tricky, it looks so easy, and then you just have a little bit of the elevation change, there's a little bump in the middle of the road, the camber falls away, and then suddenly you're flying towards the barrier before you've even realised you've made an error. And again, Mr. T running a little wide, a little conservative, and Hide's right there, but again, there's nowhere for Hide to throw a move because the road isn't wide enough, but he's going to go around the outside here into the fast right-hander. Will he manage to hold it on before mini carousel? He does! That's great driving. Fantastic driving from Hide to throw that move, but excellent driving from Mr. T himself in order to not cause a massive crash. He hasn't decided it's Verstappen land where I've got the inside line, I'm pushing you off. This is real racing where you leave space and if he gets the move done, he did a better job and he gets the move done. Excuse me. Oh, running a bit wide. So you leave space and racing happens, and he's managed to get the move done before the straight, which means he has a chance to pass Fresh Sitio in the Tavanello racing car. At the end of the straight here, it's 4/10. Fresh is catching the shadow very, very quickly. That Audi is not quick in a straight line. He is going to be under threat here from the Tavanello Ferrari. The Audi struggling horribly. That car was 7/10 ahead, and he's been overtaken. before the bridge. Oh no, that's terrible news for the GT Finlanders. They cannot afford to get freight train down the back straight. They have to break away and make sure their opponents do not have slipstream. Like, that is alarm bells, alarm bells, alarm bells. But luckily for him, he's got a slipstream here off the Tavanello car. He will have an opportunity to fight back. He pulls to the inside here on the front straight. Well, with the Tavanello car, we open the corner up, but unfortunately in the clean air, it's slow. He then goes deeper on the brakes, passes the Tavanello car up the inside. Will he leave room? They both do. And it's side by side through the first corner. Hide wants 2 for 1. That's 1. He's, just a bit of wheel spin there, unfortunately. Puts Shadow and the GT Finlanders back ahead. Hide very unlucky not to get that. This is the action pack at the moment, but the Tavanello car looking a little vulnerable. GT Finlanders, the Shadow needs to get a move on him, sneak ahead before the Nordschleife, and then make some gains while he's got it, because if he's stuck behind him, he will be very much at risk to the cars behind. Mr. T looking very racy on Hide here. He's trying to go around the outside up into the Schumacher S. That's bold. I wouldn't try that one, and he doesn't. Sonic Marathon hanging in there for the Nexus Racing team. He's still putting up a good clip. This is what you need to be doing in the early stages of this race. The second car with damage still. No one has pitted. He's doing the job. He's only 5 seconds down on his teammate. Isolano with no damage. 3 seconds down again. The Tatov, also no damage, has cleared Lucian, who is now 20 seconds down. He's taken a pit stop. He's fixed the damage, and away he goes. Probably needed to pit on the previous lap, and then while everyone else was fighting, he could have come through with fresh tyres and not worried about it, but unfortunately he's waited a lap and now he's a full 20 seconds down. But he has fresher tyres than the guys around him, and he has clean air. Checking in at the front, Myron Tires, 2 seconds up, ahead of Luigi. ERA Luigi is only 3.6 seconds ahead of Antonio Lari. Good lord. Antonio not losing much ground on the second half of that first lap, so he might have just doing a little bit of tyre saving in the first lap there to look after the tyres for the rest of the stint. That might be all it needs. It's so much better to save a bit of tyre at the start of the first lap of the stint rather than the last lap, because you have so much more tyre for the rest of the stint to work with, so that your condition of, say, understeer or oversteer doesn't get worse, which causes more understeer or oversteer, which causes more tyre wear, which causes more understeer, which causes more tyre wear. So very clever bit of driving there to just give away a bit of time, get clean air, look after the tyres, get the car sorted, and now start pushing forward for that really nice race time, which is what we need to see if we want to see people qualified for the Nürburgring 24 Hours in 2 weeks' time. And in the background is Hide trying to put a move on the GT Finlander Shadow, and it's not going to work. He's in the grass and manages to not hit anyone. Unfortunately, though, around the outside there, that bump does not let you stay around the outside there. It lifts the front and pushes you out half track, so starting half track means you run out of circuit, and he's gone off. He has not got damage, cursed it through the grass, ended up popping out the other side into the gravel, and he'll be able to resume 4 seconds down, but he still has time to catch his way up to Mr. Sonic Marathon, hanging on here in the Nexus car to the train with Mr. T and the Shadow. Shadow needs to break away though. He's lost ground to Fresh Sitchio and does not have a slipstream at this moment. He needs to now make his way back up after that little fight with Hide in order to break the slipstream from Mr. T and stay ahead, because if he is unable to break that slipstream, he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble being overtaken by cars that aren't necessarily as quick as he is, although right now they're having no problem keeping up as he puts 3 tenths into Mr. T as he makes a little mistake in the dirty air. Hide, though, now down to 3.9, so he's clearly quick. There is no doubt that Hide is very quick here today. It's just about whether or not he can get through with minimal mistakes and going quick enough. He's going to have to be a little bit patient, make his moves when he can make them, but he's going to have to not do crazy moves around the outside of a high-speed corner like that and risk throwing it in the fence. Got away with it, but that's a cautious tale of caution right there. Try not to do anything crazy, guys. Let's see who else is floating around. So State 509 doing a fantastic job with damage. That is front splitter and front right damage, by the way. Hanging on here in 9th place. He's 19 seconds of lead, but he's not too far away from the guys in front. when he comes in for his pit stop, he will have a massive opportunity to try and run down and pick up a few guys before handing over to his teammate in the Nexus racing car. And you can see this lap, he's 9 seconds quicker than his previous lap. So he's also learning how to drive this car with damage. And every lap, he will get closer and closer to the maximum potential that he's got in that damaged car. So the guys in front might be in trouble, like Sonic Marathon. They might actually be in trouble. Compared when State gets his act together with that damage on that car, when he cleans that off, fixes that. So that's very impressive from both Nexus cars to be running 7th and 9th, one with damage, one without. So they're in great shape over the length of the race, but maybe that damage could be the difference between qualifying and not qualifying for the Nürburgring 24 hours. This is of course a qualifying race, one of two, 4 hours, 2 stints, 2 drivers. Have one today or one tomorrow in a later time slot. Hide down to 3 seconds. He's making a little ground compared to Sonic Marathon, who's only 1.2 seconds behind Mr. T. And Mr. T is now running down Tavanello's fresh Sitio. He's doing a fantastic job. The rust we saw in qualifying, he has taken out the sandblaster and got rid of that. He is upset after that qualifying, and he is flying in this race. He's doing a great job for the Track Design Racing team. Obviously, despite being the boss, someone's got in his ear and told him to get on with it, and he absolutely has. He will not stand by as the man who stopped his car from qualifying. He's doing a fantastic job. I can hear the DC team Pastor Boys absolutely loving this. And they're both very close. Hang on, Shadow's ahead of Fresh Sitio. Sitio's made a mistake. I apologise, I was not awake to that one. Fresh Sitio has damage to the front right wheel. No aero damage, just front right wheel damage. So he's made an error somewhere. I'm going to guess going up through cholesterol towards the carousel. Just bumped the wall and it's given him light damage. It's let Shadow through and it's got Mr. T all over him. And that's going to change the balance of power here because Shadow is now 1.1 seconds ahead. Oh, big slide off it. Mr. T will pass him before the straight, but Shadow's also made an error. Shadow's also bottomed out in the mini carousel. Mr. T runs wide and Tavanello comes back through. That's all giving Shadow more breathing room. Oh, just about running out of room again, Mr. T there. And that will give the Audi R8 a little bit of a chance to avoid being passed down the straight here. Let's take a quick look and we see that Luigi is 2.7 back, 5 ahead of Antonelli. We'll go back to the battle pack. Mr. T in slipstream, losing ground to Fresh as he hooks up the slipstream on the Audi R8. That Audi needs to lose some downforce. He's doing 280 kilometers an hour up the back straight. Can the Shadow block? There's nothing he can do. Tavanello, well done Fresh, parks it up the inside on the grass, even with wheel damage, commits hard to the final braking zone and takes back the place. But all this squabbling has done one thing. Look in the background, there are a train of 5 cars and Hide is back in it. So from nearly being dead and buried, he is back with this train. And as we said earlier, it's not about your finishing position, it's about your total race time. Shadow trying again the same move. This time the Tavanello car gets a better run through turn 1, but is deep in turn 1 actually. I am incorrect. It makes a much more compromised line through turn 2, and Shadow is able to sneak back through on the over and under to get through before turn 3 of the Nürburgring. And that leaves Fresh Sitio now vulnerable to Mr. T in the Porsche for 6th place. And behind them, Sonic Marathon now is under threat, under assault from Hide. It's very interesting this. So it looks like the Tavanello Ferrari is running, excuse me, very little downforce compared to the Audi, or potentially that car is just very slippery compared to the Audi. And he has got a massive combat potential advantage over it. Granted, the Audi is probably the slowest car, but that car was pulling away from the TDR Porsche down the straight. And Matthias saying our downforce is ridiculous. I'm not sure which driver that is, but I'm going to guess it's not the Finnish guys. I'm going to guess it's the Italian one for the Tabanello. So they must be running minimum downforce or something silly, because that thing was an absolute rocket ship down the straight. I've not seen speeds that quick there for a long time. That was genuinely ridiculous. So Hide unable to pass Sonic Marathon before the GP Strecke ended. He's going to have to either sit here for the entire Nordschleife, or he's going to have to get lucky with a mistake from the Nexus Racing car. Oh no, that's Isolano now up into 9th, which means State has made a pit stop. Okay, I was worried that he'd crashed, but no, he's made a pit stop. And 8:14 doesn't sound like it was a particularly slow lap either. As quick as Tatov was, and Isolano. So, yeah, he absolutely took a pit stop and cleared that damage, and now has fresh tyres. I don't know if that was the right move, unless he had another off to get more damage, or it was just undrivable, because that's a lot of time lost. He's now 8 seconds behind. He has clean air now, but he will still have to take one more pit stop to get home. So that's an interesting little thing to unravel in the second half. So he needs to make up 20 odd seconds to catch up to 30 seconds to catch up to Isolano in 9th, and he's going to have to do that on the road. There's no pit stops to come and save him. Fastest lap right now is Noir and Taro's on 8:03.3, which is quick but nothing crazy, nothing near the that was my computer. Nothing near the incredibly fast 7 minutes and 55 second qualifying lap we were seeing. And Hide in the background there, as I was trying to save my computer, has snuck past the Nexus Racing car of Sonic Marathon. Apologies everyone, that was my fault, dropping a computer and hearing a massive crack noise and going, oh god, what did I break? I don't know if I've broken anything, but we'll find out when things stop working later. Great news for the Green Hell Racing team. That is one more position up the road, and they will have to find their way back through this group in front, including number 2, Trek Design Racing, TDR, Mr. T, in 6th place, our host, and a man who was retired and doesn't look like it. I'm going to keep saying he's retired, just to remind him that he was retired, but he should never have retired. He can still drive. Fresh still carrying that wheel damage, doing a really good job to stay with the shadow in that Audi R8, and with the next section being that long uphill straight section after Brunschenberg. Oh god, I'm so bad at this. We will see how much that downforce difference is. Granted, the speed isn't as high, so that drag penalty should not be as big. It will still be large, and we will see that 6/10 gap come right down. Will he launch a move? Will he commit to the inside or the outside? And will the shadow give him the time of day or the space to make it happen? Because if someone tries to go on the outside of me at cholesterol, you choose to die. Like, you've chosen death. Have fun with that. I'm not making it any easier for you. Tried to pull out, couldn't do it. Commits to half a move, just trying to psych out the shadow. Unable to do so. Both stay alive for now. And we'll have to wait until after the carousel for the next complex of potential overtaking opportunities. The shadow seems to be really struggling in the carousel, mini carousel at least. So maybe those high cambered corners make it a very challenging corner for the mid-engine cars. No dramas that time for any of those three. Of course, it's mid-engine, rear-engine right here. Hide now not really making inroads to these guys just yet, but still plenty of laps left. He's starting to pull away from Sonic Marathon though. And that might just be his pace. It could be Sonic just deciding he doesn't want to be this close to this much action this early in the NLS race. Remembering there's still a pit stop to get through. There's still an hour and a half of racing to get through. There's still another NLS race to get through before we even get to the Nürburgring. And it's a mistake for the Tavanello car, and then a bit of lag contact, I believe, with the track rate TDR car, and he lifts off to avoid overtaking illegally. Hide goes, thank you very much, I will take that position. And then a mistake allows TDR to get their car back in position. Oh, side by side through here. No way. I would not be doing that between the Flansgartens. Oh, jeez. But it brings the Nexus racing car into the fight. So now it's a 3-car battle here. Yeah, with a second to Fresh, and Fresh is now 1.9 seconds away from that Audi, so I would not expect to see the Audi catch up. This is the battle down the Dottinger this time around. Who can survive the mini carousel? Interesting point being made that Mr. T was tired, and then he was retired, and now he's unretired. So that is the progression of you're a racer, then you're tired, then you're retired, now you're unretired, and then what is it? Is he pro unretired or anti unretired after this? Anyway, Hide now 6/10 back, so 9/10 from Fresh. He got himself back into the slipstream, which is just going to keep him alive and out of danger from Mr. T, who is gaining but not quick enough to launch a move. And Sonic Marathon just pulling out of the slipstream here. Oh, she's barely hanging on. He'll be able to stay in it if he can get a nice braking zone into the final corner. But the gaps at the front, it's 8.3.0 for Noir Antares at the end of the 3rd flying lap. There are probably 12 racing laps to go. He's pulling away from Lugi in the first TDR car. He's got 7 seconds to Antonio Lari in the DC team, quietly going about their business. 7 seconds in front, 8 seconds behind. They don't care. They make the race. That's all they care about. And the DC team will be there with all of their enthusiasm, their jokes, and we will love having them for the 24 hours to keep us all going in the middle of the night. Give us something to laugh at, give us something to chat with, and we thank them for showing up. We've got GT Finlanders. They're fighting really hard here. They've got a train of cars making life difficult for them. But they're still in 4th place. They're still keeping it up there. They're still keeping that race time down. They could finish 4th here, and that could be enough, or they could easily get it done because they're not fighting people. They're just doing their lap times and making it happen. But Fresh Sitio with his wheel damage, he could definitely be going quicker here today. He should be fighting with Antonio Lari, but that mistake that got him damage cost him the position, and he's been unable to take it back, despite Tavanello's ridiculous straight line speed. But maybe that lack of downforce and thus great straight line speed is coming at the cost of some cornering potential and maybe some safety, which has caused that mistake. Only the Tavanello debrief after MLS1 will explain that one. Hide's made a couple of mistakes, but is ultimately climbing himself back into that front group. He just needs a little more straight line speed. He's going to struggle to pass the Tavanello car without some sort of pit stop advantage or a mistake from Fresh Sitio. Granted, there will be a couple seconds of wheel damage to repair, so if he can stay within touching distance and has not used too much fuel, he should jump the Tavanello car at the next pit stop and be able to resume his march forward to a better total race time. Down from his incredibly high position at the start of this race after taking a few spots that probably didn't belong to him, but doing a great job of it, Mr. T, the tired, retired, unretired livery designing machine, is up to 7th place from his qualifying position, much closer to the pace of the leaders, much closer to the pace of the guys who he needs to be racing for his teammate to take over. Lewis is a very, very quick driver in that car, so if he's keeping them in the ballpark, that's all he needs to do, and then his teammate will absolutely bring them to the qualifying time that is necessary to win an entry into the Nürburgring 24 hours. We can see Sonic Marathon just starting to fall back. It's now 2 seconds away from the guys in front. He needs to just pick that pace up, stay with them, because if he can hand over to his teammate later in this race, there's a chance for them to pick up potentially a 5th place if things go on between these guys who are fighting. Anything can happen here. He's got a nice healthy grab over the Isolano, who's doing the job at the back here. Not even at the back, he's still in 9th. He's doing the job, he's keeping it clean, and that means he's giving his team an opportunity to make this race count. If he can keep this thing clean, keep doing reasonable lap times, there's nothing wrong with that. His teammate will have to get the job done too, but he hasn't thrown it away, and that's all he has to do is keep the thing going, keep it on the black stuff, keep it damage free, look after the tyres, do the strategy thing. Hopefully the race time is good enough. It is conceivable, not probable, conceivable. All 12 cars qualify today, and only 2 cars qualify from tomorrow because they all race and crash and all things go wrong. Anything can happen. So even though it doesn't feel like the best right now, feeling it 40 seconds off the lead, that might be enough to sneak in to the top 14 cars across the 2 NLS races. And they have to just keep plugging away and hitting those lap times and doing all the right things. Same with Tateoff. He's only 7 seconds further back. He hasn't got damage. He hasn't had a lap where he's had to give away 30 seconds because he's parked it in the grass and spun around. He's just getting the job done, looking after the tyres, looking after the fuel, trying to make sure he beats everyone who does make a mistake in that Scuderia Adriatica car. See, Luciano, not sure what caused his issue on that warm-up lap, leading to damage on the Dodinga-Ho. Might have been lag, might have been his own mistake, but he was facing the wrong way on the warm-up lap and had to take a pit stop on lap 3 to clear that damage. It's cost him 20 seconds, and he's still looking to recover that for the Rust Racing team. But he's quick. He's doing 8-minute 12s, and he should be able to catch his way towards the guys at the front, but he's going to need to find a bit of luck and just keep going faster and faster, because he should have a better tyre quality compared to the guys around him, and he will do a 1-lap overcut on lower fuel with a better tyre, in theory, on strategy later on. So that might give him the advantage to maybe jump a car or 2 after catching them, that he otherwise would be stuck behind and have to do on track. And that's the kind of thing that can make or break a really good qualifying time here. And State 509 for the Nexus Racing team. He's had his pit stop, and he's now on his first flying lap since that pit stop. He's also been pretty quick, considering he was doing those lap times with damage. Might be a little bit stressed out though, because that looked a little bit sketchy, so he's probably pushing a little too hard, because he should have great pace. His best lap is an 8:21 because he's 8:14 he pitted on. He's 10 seconds up already. That's an 8:10. So he is very quick. He's just a long way down right now. So all he has to do is just keep it on the island and do his pace. He will make his way back up to something in the region of 9th place. He will be charging towards Sonic Marathon, who, if I go look at his lap times, he is doing 8:10s already. So he's halfway around the lap and he's already on target for 8:10. He'll be doing 8:06, 8:07. And there's enough laps. There's 12 racing laps. That's 3 seconds a lap. That's 36 seconds. He will catch up to his teammate in the other Nexus racing car, which puts them within the ballpark of Mr. T, in the ballpark of Hide, in the ballpark of Frusticcio, in the ballpark of 4th place GT Finlanders, the Shadow 977. So he has the pace right now to bring himself back into play with the guys at the front of this field. All is not lost, because he will have better tyres. He will have the fuel where he wants it when he needs it. He will have less time in the pit stop. He will have a better tyre quality in both stints. He has the chance to potentially work his way back into this race and save the stint for his team. Back to the Dodinga-Ho Shadow 8:10 square. We'll see what the Tavanello guy can do in a second. Looks like the battling will not be anything other than Shadow versus Fresh. It's down to 4/10. It was 8/10 when we joined on the straight. Here we go again. Tavanello doing a whopping 290 kilometers an hour. Gets by once again, even with that wheel damage. You have to brake very, very early though to get it stopped. Now it's up to Shadow now to try and launch. Oh, it's a big slide. I was going to say launch another attack. It would have been 3 laps in a row that Tavanella has passed them on the main straight, and Shadow has had to repass them at turn 1. That's giving incentive to Hit 8. Hit 8 now down to 4 tenths as a gap. Probably not close enough to throw a lunge at turn 1 because of the chicane nature of it. And it is indeed not good enough. But with that slide out of there, Fresh is now 1.5 seconds ahead. The Audi Group B, Audi Quattro Group B livery, not having the drive traction of its predecessor there in its new mid-engine configuration is the Audi R8. So unfortunately, just taking away the grip as he needed it to launch an attack. And we'll see now if he was indeed the cork in the bottle, and if Fresh Sitio for Tavanella Racing can now pull away and try and get towards Antonio Lari for the DC team, who's very happy in third right now, but now might have his Italian compatriot hunting him down for third place, who is still 10 seconds away from Lugi, with a great username of Lugi is on PS, but unfortunately it's now ERA Lugi. Very, formal team name. I like Lugi is on PS because it's such a great name to say that he's on PlayStation now as opposed to he's on PC. It's a great little identifier for him to know his accounts, but he's now just Lugi, and he's now part of an academy team. Sorry, a racing, sim racing squad. As is Mr. C2M Narantaris, who's leading the way here. It was only an 8.033 on that lap, so his consistency looks pretty good with a 3.3, a 3.0, a 3.3. That is why he's on pole position. He looks like he's done 1,000,000 laps, and he's just rattling off the lap times as he needs to. Probably looking after the tyres and fuel maybe a little bit, or he's just that good, he's going flat out and not making mistakes. Lugi, oh sorry, I apologise, Lugi with 4.4, 4.3, 4.4. No, he's done 1,000,000 laps and is looking after the tyres and fuel, just knocking out every single metric he needs to. That's incredible. How can you be 700ths of a second? I'll give it 800. How can you be 800ths of a second apart across 3 laps, including 2 laps that are the same? Have a look at that over on the right there. Lap 5 is 8.04.438. Lap 3 is 8.04.438. He's done the same lap time around the Nürburgring 24-hour course, which is the GP Strecke and the Nordschleife. The same lap time. 3 laps within a tenth. 1/10 of a second. And he's done it here. At Monza, maybe. That's still a tough ask. But here, holy moly, Lugi can drive. We can see Fresh is not really gaining just yet. But Shadow now, it looks like he is corking the bottle. He's not gained. He's lost another 3/10 to Fresh. And now Hide's on his tail, as Mr. T is. But unfortunately for Nexus, Sonic Marathon pulling back here. It looks like 8.09, 8.10 is kind of his pace. Whereas the boys in front are starting to wind up from those 8.10s. They're now doing 8.07s. Isolano doing the job. It's a bit isolated here, 17 seconds ahead, 10 seconds behind. But he's doing the lap times he needs to do to just keep that car in position. Lucian, 8.05. That's what I was talking about. He's actually cleared Taitov, who now has damage. Oh no! That's not what he needed at all. He needed to just keep the car clean for the Scuderia Atlantica. That is a bad time for him. He's now 11th place and has damage. The only saving grace is at the end of lap 6. He would need to do 10 laps. He might have enough fuel. Maybe enough fuel. I haven't done any long runs to know what fuel burn looks like. But if he can keep it down, he might have to do 1 more lap before he pits, but then in theory he could get it home without filling up again. So he might be able to keep it down to only 1 pit stop near the end of the race, but it might cost him 1 more lap with damage. And we see that state in the Nexus Racing car is an 8.09. That is as quick as the 5th, 6th, 7th guys. Maybe not as quick as now the Tavanella car in 4th, but he's still a chance to catch back up if he can just put together some good sectors, good lap times, and stay without damage, because he's now catching Taitov hand over fist. That's terrible news for them. Indeed, Emmanuel and Lucky. But Lucian for the Rust Racing team, he's going to have the throw. He's going to have a big charge here. He's going to look at ISO and potentially Sonic by the time he pits. because Sonic is doing 8.10s, he's doing 8.05s. Granted, that tyre advantage will dissipate. He's catching 5 seconds a lap. That's 5 laps, and that's about when we're expecting to see people... No, 5 laps still pitted. What am I saying? Anyway, so we can see... Well, Shadow's made ground again. He's caught up the Tavanello car. Has the Tavanello car made another mistake or just got a really bad run? Looks like it was just a bad run, because it was now 1.2 seconds, so don't count out GT Finlanders just yet. It looked like they might be struggling. Granted, there is a little bit of wheel damage on there for Fresh Sitio, but it's only wheel damage. It's very rare to only have wheel damage. It's probably the most drivable damage to get, as opposed to front splitter damage or rear wing damage, because you don't lose grip and lose top speed, where you're penalised aggressively with no ability to turn or put down the power, but also no increase in top speed for having less downforce. So you have less downforce and less top speed. It's a worst of both worlds kind of moment. You see Hide now keeping up. Have we lost Mr. T in the background? No, only 1.5 seconds. He has just fallen away a little bit as the pace has just risen here, as everyone's trying to get back with the Tavanello car. Hide looking for his move. Based on the straight line speed of the Audi, you would expect Hide to be able to make that move on the Dottinger Hill. Back straight, that 2 kilometre straight uphill run before you hit the bridge, and then it's down the hill into the final complex. But he needs to, genuinely needs to be in the slipstream of Fresh Sitio, but I don't think even if he gets there, he's going to be able to stay in it. But if he can, that would be a huge benefit in his fight against the Green Hell Racing Lexus. A very quick result in qualifying for them, but some lag contact, it felt like, in turn 1. Shuffled them down the order, and they've been trying to fight back since. Felt like a long time ago when that happened. But ultimately on time, these guys are all relatively close, so it's not too big a deal. I think probably the happiest man in this group would be Mr. T. He's just hanging out in the background there, not doing anything crazy, getting a nice run, good speed. It's a second, he hasn't got slipstream, and Hide will, but he managed to pull a good chunk of time, so it's going to be a little bit harder for Hide to catch him compared to what Tavanello had. But they will get closer, 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 and the Tavanello car just pulls away in a straight line. It's probably the fastest car compared to the slowest car. But Hide doesn't look like he's going to get there. If he's going to get there, it's going to be really, really late. It's 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2.5, but not enough. Not enough against the car that probably was going to stop the quickest with the most downforce on it. But importantly, Hide has held at 3 tenths, and he will have an opportunity to slipstream past. This is also a very, very long straight down to turn 1 of the GP Strecke. It's an 8.08, it's his best lap, and he defends as Hide now has to go around the outside into turn 1. I don't think he'll get it done here unless Shadow makes a mistake. Tries to cut back, but he's unable to make it happen. And Fresh Sitio is now 2 seconds ahead. It was less than 1 second at the start of the Dottinger Straight. But he has gained a full second in the Dottinger Hoa, final complex, front straight of the GP Strecke and turn 1. I don't think he gained in the complex or turn 1. I think between those two straights he's gained a good 1.5 seconds over his rivals, which is really impressive how they've managed to trim that car out to get such a ridiculous top speed, but not lose too much in the corners. He's still 8.5 seconds off Antonio Lari. So that's very impressive. That car is still damaged. Have to remember that. That car is damaged, and he's doing that kind of pace. Bloody hell. That car is... If that car... I want to say when that car qualifies. That's called a commentator's curse. We don't do that here. On purpose. If that car makes the Nürburgring 24 hours, it is going to be an absolute headache for everybody. Because he will get himself track position, and then if you're quicker than him in the corners by 2 tenths, that's tough. You're not going to pass him. You need to be quicker than him by a couple of seconds in the corners in order to make it happen. And I don't think that's going to be possible. They've done a really, really good job. I'm sorry, I just thought I saw Fresh Sitio's helmet. I'm like, is that a Kimi Räikkönen helmet? That's a Kimi Räikkönen. That's like mid-2000s Kimi Räikkönen helmet. Well done. You thought I wouldn't notice. Anyway, that car will be a menace because if you don't drop him in the corners, he will get ahead of you. And if he gets ahead of you, he will not give it up. You will not be able to pass him unless he falls off the road. And even then, he's still very quick after he's fallen off the road. So that is a warning shot. The Tavernello boys will be dangerous. They have come here to race. They have not come here to muck around. They will probably make it to the big dance, and they will be a pain in the butt. It's going to be fantastic watching this strategy play out, assuming they keep it this way. I imagine they will, because it's working. Simple as that, it's working. But we'll see. As we see the downforce Shod and the R8 towing along Hide in the Green Hell Racing Lexus. RCF, the oldest GT3 machine in motorsport, running right now at the top level, as Toyota/Lexus has yet to replace it. And Shadow puts in a nice little PB sort of split there to the bridge after the start of the Nürburgring, coming down into Foxhole. It's very impressive to see PBs out on racing lap 6, I should say. Lap 7 of the race, but racing lap 6. We're expecting to see this one, 2 or 3 more laps, depending on who wants to undercut, overcut, or just pit for tyres exactly on strategy. Because there is an argument to pit 1 lap earlier or 1 lap later than the person you're racing, just to try and get some clean air to make something happen while they're out on the track on old tyres or on full fuel. I'm not sure how everyone's cars balance up, so some cars might benefit from coming in a lap earlier and getting a fresh tyre on and going quicker. It might be some guys who benefit from staying out because the lightweight means that they have got the job done. And great call, Manuel. I have missed Lucian getting his way past Isolano. He's done another 8:05. And Isolano continuing to do the job, looking after the car, keeping it on the island, and looking after that total race time. Because again, you could genuinely finish last in this race and still qualify for the Nürburgring 24-hour race in 2 weeks' time, in July 10th to 12th, because it is based on total time between the 2 races, not the finishing position. So it is possible to finish last and still qualify. Hard to do, but that's why you keep driving and keep trying and never give up, because this is endurance racing. It is simply not over until it's over. And Lucian doing 8:05s puts him on pace as the 3rd quickest car on track. Lucian quicker than Antonio Lari, quicker than Fresh Sitio, quicker than the Shadow, quicker than Hide and Mr. T, who are going at it on the run up to Carousel. I don't know if Mr. T will try and make a move. He pulls out. It's going to be side by side through cholesterol. Oh my lord. Someone dies if they do it. And it's Mr. T hanging on. Well done. They left each other space. Well done, Hide, to leave Mr. T enough room. And Mr. T, well done for hanging on around the outside. Ultimately, does not pay off, but bloody hell, great bit of driving to get 2 cars through cholesterol corner. That's incredible driving. I have never seen 2 people go through there in Gran Turismo and both live to tell about it. Granted, it wasn't completed, the overtake, but that was ballsy. That was really, really ballsy. That's what it looks like when you've been retired so long. You've forgotten what a terrible idea looks like. Oh my god. Well done, boys. Sonic Marathon for Nexus, doing a great job here. He's now 6 seconds back, but he's just hanging on. He's not giving up too much time. It's going to make it hard work for Lucian to pass him and anyone else to keep up. Oh, they're looking to shuffle. So Lucian doing great work here on his fresh tyres with his damage pit stop after getting front splitter damage on the formation lap, pointing backwards on the Dotting-O-Ho. He's making it count though. It's not over, and there is a lot of time left for the Rust Racing Team car to make their way back into that top few to try and qualify for the Ring of 24 Hours here in NLS 1. Reminder, we have NLS 2 tomorrow on Sunday. So after that near-death experience, we see Hide has pulled at 1.3 seconds, but importantly, Shadow has broken away from Hide and is now closing back in on Fresh Sitio. Antonio Lari starting to struggle with tyre wear, falling back towards Fresh Sitio, doing 8 minute 10 on that last lap. And losing ground to Fresh Sitio, losing only 1.4 seconds, but losing 5 seconds to Luigi ahead, who lost a further second and a half to Noir Antares, who has done a great job out front from pole position. Quick look through, I guess, as things seem to have sort of calmed down. We'll get back to that battle in the middle. So, Noir Antares for Clockwork Motorsport in the number 56, still leading away from pole position, doing 8:03s. Fantastic consistency. So, really good setup on that car, it looks. No real loss of pace at all. That's a fantastic effort. Even Luigi, who was robotically quick at the start, has lost a little bit of pace in the last couple of laps. So, maybe just a little bit of imbalance in tyre wear, causing a slight characteristic change. But overall, really good pace from him. No complaints. The TDR boys will be very happy with that. DC team with Antonio Lari starting to fade off here, so maybe not quite the same ultimate pace from that car, and just probably a mistake. It's unlikely he's done 6.677 and then a 10 without having an error. It's unlikely to be a tyre wear rated concern. It looks pretty even. And yeah, 0.6 off, so he just made a little mistake in the past lap, which brought in a little bit closer Fresh Sitio for the Terminal Racing team. He's had damage this entire race as far as we can work out, so we'll have to see what his pace is once he clears that damage at his first pit stop. That Kimi Raikkonen helmet can see fresh air and go as hard as he wants and try and pull away from the Shadow 977 of the GT Finlanders. He's done a really good job surviving the pressure early on, and it looks like the others are starting to fade with a tyre wear quality disadvantage to this car. This car looks fantastic by comparison to some of the ones I've seen. So his pace of 810, 808, 808, 808, he's not going anywhere. So you would have thought, based on the way Fresh Sitio was running him down, that he would be able to just rip away, but he has not. And with him has come Hide, who's starting to fall away now, and that definitely is a tyre wear problem. Last lap with that 11, that was probably an error. That error would have been accentuated by the fact that that car is wearing the front tyre slightly more than the rear, and that's going to start making worse and worse feeling for him. Probably needs to turn off that traction control just to get some wheel spin to fix up the tyre wear, because that car was very quick over one lap, but it's starting to struggle now as he's running out of ability to turn the car the way he wants. But clearly it's not affecting him as much as it's affecting Mr. T here, the tired, retired and unretired man. Finds himself in 7th place, a couple seconds back. His tyre wear isn't so bad, it's pretty even, but obviously just losing a little bit of confidence. But he's still pulling away from Sonic Marathon in the Nexus Racing car, who's very consistently doing his lap times. Probably tyre wear, that's all it will take. And it looks bad to say he lost 2 seconds lap of tyre wear, but that's over like 5 laps. It's like 4/10 on a normal track. You go, oh yeah, that's pretty good. However, ever closing is Lucian for the Rust Racing team. He's now done 8:07 on that previous lap. He's got to just keep hitting his marks and continuing to close, because he will continue to make 4 or 5 seconds lap, so he'll be with us in a couple of laps time after the pit stop. So the Nexus boys will have to be on the lookout. However, he's still pulling away from Isolano, who the tyre wear is really starting to affect. That thing's got great rear tyres, but unfortunately the front's not so much. So the understeer really starting to play in for them. And he's 6 seconds down on this lap, so he's made a mistake. No damage, but that'll be at least an 8:18 if he does a perfect run from here to the flag. So he's losing time really aggressively here on this lap with probably 1.5 laps to go before he pits. Losing big time to the man behind him, State 509, who did an 8:17 on the previous, so second last lap. 8:09's either side of that, so he is quick. He just needs to not make any mistakes, and he will also run down Isolano in the next couple of laps. But unfortunately, in last place, having recently stopped for damage, I don't know if they can make it to the end without having to pit again. Hopefully they can. It's Tateoff in the Scuderia. Oh, geez, that looked like it hit the wall. That's probably just lag. In the Scuderia Adriatica. For those... Oh no, that wasn't lag. It's oversteered on the exit there. It's hit that bump and then has pitched him into the wall. Left front damage, front splitter damage. Sorry, everyone from Scuderia Adriatic. Oh my god. Adriatica Motorsport. That's probably going to be another pit stop. The only upside is he probably will be able to make it to the end of the race again after this one, but already 59 seconds down, he's not going to get much closer in this round of pit stops, repairing damage, but he will have less fuel to take on. But it's going to be a tough ask in that second stint to get that Trans-Adriatic car into... Scuderia Adriatica car into the Nürburgring. Emmanuel clearly not happy. I was going to say, if anyone didn't know, the Adriatic Sea, of course, is on the eastern side of Italy, with Croatia and on the opposite side of the Adriatic Sea. But that fun fact does not feel particularly fun right now, as Tateoff now struggling with the understeer, getting in the grass and then oversteers, and now it's become a real struggle for him. He's just going to have to get it back. And here's his teammate on the radio telling him just not to worry, just get it back, repair the damage, and just focus on getting it done clean. It doesn't have to be fast, it doesn't have to be clean. And then his teammate can potentially try and salvage something. And we see at the front, it's TDR Racing. Luigi is into the pits. He is pitting 1 lap early. He's done 7 laps and he's going to pit now to try and potentially undercut the leading Clockwork Motorsport car, or he's just had enough of the tyre wear and he's going to come back out in this next stint and just focus on managing the tyres. And as comes in Antonelli for Tavanello, and comes in, Antonelli for DC Team, and Fresicchio, and The Shadow, and Hide, and Mr. T. Everyone's in at the end of the 8th lap. So everyone has decided to come in here and do 8 laps to the end. It was 15 racing laps, so it's a choice of 7 laps and 8 laps in some capacity, and it seems everyone, bar the leader and Sonic Marathon, have decided that we are going to go and do 7 laps and then 8 laps. So Noir Antara is looking to do 8 laps and then 7. Same with Sonic Marathon. Which has actually made things a little bit struggling for Luigi, because he's going to have to now try and pass the Sonic Marathon in the Nexus racing car before the Nordschleife. This could cost him a huge amount of time. Well, he's caning. It's down to 9/10, but will Sonic Marathon play nice? Will he fight to the death? I don't know. I would expect Luigi to be able to get past pretty easily, but if he doesn't, he'll have to keep a cool head and not cause a crash and get himself a big penalty in the post-race standings. But it's going to come down to whether or not he can get close enough to make that not an equation that matters, and he gets a great run up towards the Vidal chicane. I think it would be very easy for him to make a move. Oh, but he just hasn't got the straight line I was expecting based on how much he gained on exit there. It's not a long enough braking zone, the fast Vidal chicane. And Sonic takes a conservative line, not too slow. Oh, leaves the door wide open for him. That's very courteous of Sonic for the Nexus Racing team. It's a really good choice because he needs to look after his own race time, and he's decided to go the extra lap, so he needs to just make sure to hit his marks, get his lap time the way he wants it. And fighting a guy in his mirrors is not the way to do it, especially going on fresh tyres. He's doing 804s compared to his 809 as a best lap. So he could have been very rude there and just held him up, but I think he made the smart choice to just let him go, focus on his own race, and just enjoy a little bit of slipstream, a little bit of line, something to focus on, and give him a little bit of an opportunity to learn something for later. Antonio Lari, also fresh tyres. He's got 13 seconds. I don't think he'll catch him. He'll catch Sonic before the end of the lap, but if he does, he'll catch him on the Dottinger, so it won't be such a big drama. Now, this is the question. Fresh Sitio. How little fuel has he taken? No, nothing crazy. I didn't realise he was only 3.6 seconds back. So the last couple of laps here, Antonio Lari has done an 8.10 and an 8.12. Fresh Sitio has done an 8.08 and an 8.10. So he has made 4 seconds in the last 2 laps, and now he doesn't have damage. I was going to say, this is the story I want to see play out, is can he overhaul Antonio Lari for 3rd place, even with damage? It looked like, yes, he can at the death of those stints. And reminder, that was on 7 lap-old tyres. Granted, they had to do an outlap and there was some tyre wear there, but I think they're going to wear the tyres much more on the racing laps than they would on the warm-up laps. So the 8th lap with tyre wear is going to be a huge fight for Antonio Lari. They're going to have to fix that in the DC team pit box and figure out how to make that car look after its tyres a little better, because Fresh Sitio for Tavanella Racing is coming for that Italian supremacy badge, and he's coming quickly. He's already pulled another second out on this lap alone, and that's fresh tyre running. Granted, Antonio was slow on his opening lap. I thought, looking after the tyres, and maybe that's what he is still doing again, but wow, even with that tyre saving at the start of his stint, it has proved to be a real struggle for him. Maybe he needs a couple of laps of tyre saving, just looking after the end that's weak for him in order to save enough grip to try and fight later in the stint. But his team will have told him by now, you need to be more than a second away from that Tavanello car when it comes down to the Dottinger, because it will come screaming through. It's an absolute jet down the straight. Now 7 seconds down, so do you have to take more fuel? Everyone seems to have similar amounts of fuel in their car right now, so I'm really not sure how these gaps have opened up. I just obviously got a little bit distracted watching the different parts of the field. Shadow now 4 seconds clear of Mr. T. State is now 11 seconds clear of Lucian. Lucian's decided to take the pit stop, get back on strategy, but I don't know why. surely you'd stay out. You've got fresher tyres than everyone around you. Take the extra lap. If you pitted on lap 2, you could do 7 and 7 instead of 2, 5 and 8. But that's up to the Rust Racing team. Maybe they knew that if they could go flat out in that first stint, they could go really hard and not worry about tyre wear. But 7 laps wouldn't have been enough to work that out, and they just go flat out. Isolano now, fresh tyres. 11th place, he's 2 minutes off the lead, but we don't know. That's the beauty. We don't know how fast they need to go because NLS2 hasn't happened yet. And even when NLS2 happens, no one will have a benchmark of what the time is for where their competitors were at relatively equal parts of the lap because no one knows when the race started. Tateoff now has taken his damage pit stop and he should be good to go. 8 laps to the finish, same as everyone else. But he's a minute down. He's going to have to find some really good consistency here to try and get himself back into the game. Yeah. So we look at the lead, and it's now 54 seconds, which looks really encouraging. But that is because Noir Antares has not yet pitted. He's 3 seconds down on this lap, so he has decided to take the pain here of doing 8 racing laps and a warm-up lap to give himself the best tyres the second half of this stint, meaning that he's just minimising risk if anyone does happen to come and attack him, but he will lose a good 4 seconds here by the end of this lap. This would have been something in the region of an 8:07, 8:08. So he's lost ground there relative to probably what Lugi's doing. His worst lap has been an 8:05 until he pitted. So it was an 8:09.7 as an in-lap. And what is Noir Antares going to get as an in-lap? It is 8:09. So didn't lose any time. Actually gained 2/10 on the in-lap. So that's really handy for him. And Lugi put 6 seconds into Sonic, and Sonic will be in this lap. So the Nexus Racing car, we'll see when he comes out. I'm expecting, 70 litres. That looks a little low actually, so, but maybe it's because he's got one less lap to do. So the Clockwork Motorsport car looks like it will come out in the lead. We'll let you know what the gap is when we come back. But it looks like it's still a pretty comfy lead. So even on that last lap, he was able to have a really strong pace compared to the Porsche behind. Oh, it sounded like some grinding or something there. So we'll see where the Nexus Racing car comes back out. Antonio Lari, 2 seconds clear of Fresh Sitio. That gap is dropping. It's the fight between DC Team and Tavanello Racing. It's coming. Oh, Sonic with only 6 litres of fuel. He will be in the pits for a long time. Reminder, refuel speed is 3 litres per second. So to get up to 70, he's going to be stationary for another 20 seconds. And he's already behind Hide. He's already behind The Shadow. He's behind Mr. T. He was something in the region of 6, 7, 8 seconds. State, apologies, was behind him. He sets his best lap with 8:08.4. Good news for him. Where does his teammate come out? He has put a lot of fuel in. A lot of fuel. Lucian is ahead. Unfortunately for the Nexus Racing team, that means Rust Racing team is ahead. However, Rust Racing team with the worst tyres, obviously by a lap, but Sonic with a lot more fuel in the car. So maybe Lucian has to do a bit of fuel saving. We're seeing drifting there. That's cold tyres and a little bit of exuberance there, trying to get that Nexus car up to his teammate to try and fight for a position in the second stint. Isolano bringing the end of his lap. Still no drama. Oh no, Tateoff's got damage in front right, corner damage again, and it's on the out lap. Oh, he needs a teammate in there, just in his ear for the Scuderia Adriatic team, just to get him to calm down because he can't keep crashing every single lap. This has gone horribly wrong for Scuderia Adriatica. Lovely team name, lovely logo. It's just not coming together for them with Tateoff. He's already 56 seconds behind his teammate, and it's going to be way more now that Isolano is away. He's done his last pit stop. He has no damage. Tatov's going to have to do another stop, unfortunately, for damage, or he's just going to have to carry it to the end. I don't know which, but that is not what we want to see. So back to the front, and the gap is 15 seconds from Nuarantaras to Lugi. Quite a cloudy cloud in the distance there, and that's 17 seconds to Antonio Lari, and it is go time. The Italian fight begins. The Scuderia Adriatica. Oh my god, I'll get it right one day. I'm so sorry to the Scuderia Adriatica boys. And the Tavanello car is off through the grass. Really have... Oh, he might not have clean tyres in time for the flat out left corner. But he'll probably have to brake anyway with the downforce he's got, and he does. He has to lift, and the understeer kicks in with the dirty tyres. That was a really good lift from Prestigio to recognise he might still have dirty tyres there and go flying off the road. Well managed, but that car looks very quick. He is going to be fighting the DCT team car for third place in no time. Looks like the rest of the fights have settled down until Lucian and State come together. So we'll stay with Prestigio and Tavanello Racing in the battle for Italian supremacy. Emmanuel very much not pleased with Tatov. I'm guessing that's his teammate. Well, it's up to you, Emmanuel, to make it happen, my man. There's only so much you can do, but you'll have to do your best because this is endurance racing. It's never over until it's over. If you're watching Le Mans in 2016, spoilers, the car everyone thought was going to win did not win. Oh, wow, Prestigio deep there, hitting the wall. No damage. Lucky boy. No damage in the Tavanello racing car. So he's got all this front grip suddenly, it's moving differently, and now he's made a very, very scary error. So Tavanello flying by the seat of their pants here, very nearly causing another bit of damage, just as they look like they were about to steal third place, all but certainly. Because all he has to do is be within a second of Antonio Lari coming onto the Dodinger, and he will be there in the braking zone. He doesn't need to be on him and up his gearbox. He can be within any amount of slipstream, and he will have a shot at passing. So someone get him on the Tavanello bunker, get in there and tell him to just calm down and make it happen. Because now Hide is only 5 seconds behind. They are losing ground to the cars behind, and remember, it's total time, it's not track position. Total time is what matters. Get it done. Get in, moderately close. Just save fuel, save tyres, do what you have to do, and then focus on getting the move done when you need it done. Tavanello car losing a lot of speed through the high-speed left-hander at Cholesterol. But he's still within 1.2 seconds, and if he can just find a little bit of time, he will find himself within striking distance on the large long straight at the end of the lap. But Antonio Lari for DC team making a mess of the carousel, losing 4/10, and now he's within striking distance, slipstream engage, but also dirty air engage, so Prestigio going to be a little bit careful. He made a couple of mistakes in dirty air so far. Down 7/10, he's where he needs to be, but he doesn't need to be any closer. Spirit of Indian chat saying the pit cycle is complete. The engineer on the City of pit stand is now asleep at the computer, which is pretty fair, because I am sure it is something like 4 AM where that guy is. I'm pretty sure he's American. That's bold to have to be there, but I guess no one else was available to help. Good night, my man. You can see Fresh now 8/10 back. Still just about within striking distance. He's just got to be close enough when it counts. Doesn't matter if he's only 1/10 behind all the way through here as we come down to Flansgarten. Watching the cars get air. There will be about 100 shots that Mr. T takes at the end of this race, showing cars in the air there, because he loves that bit. He loves watching the cars literally flying through the air there. and we won't get any results for a while because he'll be busy taking those photos. But not to worry, we will get the results sorted in time for the Nürburgring 24 Hours. And you can see now it's down to 5/10. He's got the lap time now that he needs it. Right on the back of Antonio Lari. He's a little bit of space on the outside there, but it's 7/10. That will do him. He doesn't need to be right there. That car is so quick in a straight line, and he knows that. He'll start in the slipstream, and straight away the DC team car makes a move to try and break the slipstream, but it's not going to be enough. Here comes the juggernaut. That thing, it was doing 260 before he pulled top gear, and it's in the slipstream. 285, 287, 288, and now it's slowing down because he's out of the slipstream. And he's just gone. It's over. Not before the bridge from 7/10 back. That thing is a rocket ship. That said 291 kilometers an hour. That's unreal. That thing is so dangerous. And it's third place for Prestigio in the Tavanello racing team. They've done the job. Got themselves back into third place. They're 35 seconds off the lead, and they are now on a mission to try and lose as little time as possible for the next 6 laps to try and get themselves home in the best time possible to qualify for that Nürburgring 24 Hours, July 10 to July 12. Here at the Endurance Racing Federation, live driver swaps, 24 hours straight of racing, no gaps, no changes of lobby, just no race ending and resetting lobbies. It's one lobby into the next, live driver swaps, 24 hours of racing in real time. Now, what can Antonio do? Will he try and stay with Prestigio, or will he just look after his own race time and worry about what his teammate has to do in the DCT car? Will it be Passina Caldo to follow up? I don't think so. I believe it is DRT Canu, a driver I have not seen to comment if I can say he is a very quick driver and everyone should be worried, or whether or not he's a rookie in the series. I just don't know. But that Tavanello car looking fantastic as he pulls away. DC team, they've been looking for a good result, and if they can get one here today, they'll find themselves in the Nürburgring 24 Hours, looking for a shot at glory. We see the Green Hell racing car, with Hide. After a couple of early issues, he is plugging along. He's now 9 seconds ahead of Shadow. He was 7 seconds quicker on the previous lap, on the pit lap, and then 4 seconds quicker on the last lap. So they swapped on the in lap, and I didn't notice. Sorry, everyone. Not sure when that happened, but based on the numbers, he's now only 3 seconds ahead of Mr. T, and it must have just been in refueling time to be 7 seconds closer, so they've come out of the pits in a different order. I'm very sorry to the Green Hell Racing boys to not pick up their overtake, which appears to be done on strategy, but at 8:03.7, it's quicker than the 8:08 Antonio did, it's quicker than the 8:05 Prestigio did. Hide's fast, and he is coming for the leaders. This is not over. Shadow with an 8:07, not bad at all. Mr. T also, an 8:07. He will not be left behind. State 5:09 has to pit still. Okay. Pit on lap 4. Racing lap 3, I believe. So he's decided to split the rest of the race in half to do. No, I don't know what he's doing. I think he's just going as long as he can. Because there are only 6 more laps. I would have pitted by now and got off those tyres, but obviously he's worried about something to stay out. Maybe trying to keep Lucian behind him for at least a little bit. He's done another 8:05 in that previous lap. He is going fast in the Rust Racing Team car. That is going to find its way into 8th and then be... he's only 2 seconds quicker than Mr. T now. Mr. T's found his rhythm there. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle. He might get to the back of that TDR car by the pit stop, but it's looking less certain to be he will catch them and be passing them as it did previously. He's now 11 seconds ahead of Sonic Marathon, who now has pitted, but has to do... He's got fresh tyres, but I don't know if it's going to be enough because Lucian's very quick. But his teammate, Sonic's going to come out well ahead of his teammate, State. So the decision not to pit is an interesting one, but he did do an 808 from the previous lap, so I don't know, that's what Nexus is doing, that's what they're choosing to do. They will find themselves 9th and 10th after State pits, but we'll see if State and Sonic can come back together. State trying to mount the recovery drive here, but needs to do something to try and match his teammate as Lucian closes it. Quick look back towards the front, Shadow getting closed on by Mr. T, Antonio getting dropped by Fresh, Hide closing on Antonio. So there's a couple of fights here. It's Luciano and State and Hide and Hide. Jeez, next brain. It's Hide and Antonio for 4th, and it is State and Lucian for 8th. 3 seconds now for Hide Antonio as we come up towards the carousel, as Hide does a purple sector. He is quicker than race-leading Antonio Norantaras on this lap. He is trying to make it to Antonio to get past now while he's got the tyre advantage to try and sneak ahead and hold off Antonio to the end potentially, as I think his tyre wear was pretty bad, but so was Antonio, so this is an open fight. Antonio versus Hide, either one could get ahead, stay ahead and hold on, because their tyre wear both was pretty bad for their lap time change. We've gone from 807s to 811s, and Antonio went from 806s to 812, so it's very risky. If one can get ahead, they might be able to stay ahead later on, but if DC Team can hold up the Green Hell Racing Team car, he might be able to just degrade that man's tyres enough that he can stay in the lead. Prestigio, no dramas. I thought he lost a big chunk of time there, but anyway. Checking in on State, it's still 3.3 to Lucian, so that will be a fight on another day. So we'll stay with Antonio. I feel like Fresh should be further up the road. Oh, Hide runs wide! 0.5 up on the best lap, but dirty tyres now, and he'll be punished by another running wide. He's pushing that car very, very hard. He's made a couple of errors today. He made a very costly error at the start, well, not at the start, after being lag bumped at the start. Cost himself a couple of laps of being in clean air, and then had to fight a little bit harder, and he's working very hard to make this race happen. Now he's only 1/10 above himself, so he lost a big chunk of time, I think, on that mistake. It's been 1.3 seconds to Antonio Lari. He's not going to get the opportunity. Although it looks like Antonio dropped a wheel. Both getting a little squirrely. It's 1.2. I don't think he'll get in the slipstream to launch an attack down the Dottinger Hole. Maybe gets close enough though to launch an attack on the GP Strecker. It's 9/10. He's done the job. Great run off the corner. He will get a slipstream. What does Antonio do in the DC Team car? He's now going to find himself under threat. He's moved once. He's moved twice. The hazards are on. Well, not really weaving, but just gently moving from left to right, right to left across the track, trying to break that slipstream. It's another move. Don't think there's anything wrong with that just yet, because Hide is not close enough to be actually doing anything dangerous, but we'll see. It's down to 2/10, so it will be a front straight move. Oh, right in the bumper. Parks the bus on the apex. Change camera, please. And he's right there. They get a little bit of oversteer, both of them. Hooks into the slipstream. Now it's critical. Antonio has to do something here. Will he defend the inside? Will he stay to the outside? If he moves, it's too late here. He moves to the inside. Hide not quick enough. There's not enough straight line in that Lexus to get around him. He's parked up on the outside. He'll cut back, set himself up for the switchback out of turn 2, but it won't matter. That Porsche is too good off the corner. Excellent drive, and Hide will have to wait another lap if he wants to make the move. I'll just check in with Luciano and State. State goes around again. He's in red fuel. I don't know if he has the fuel mileage for that, but we'll find out if he makes it or not. Okay. Anyway, potential drama there for the Nexus Racing team. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's got his fuel numbers in front of him and he knows what's going on. That would be an absolute tragedy if you run out of fuel on this lap before pitting. Hito now 5 tenths down because he's now in the dirty air fighting with Antonio Lari. This is critical. He has to get this move done nice and early before the tyre wear kicks in while he's got that pace advantage, because Antonio will stop saving tyres at some point and be able to get away from him. Bit of a slide. He's really pushing that car now, leaning on the throttle to try and turn it. It's now 7 tenths. Antonio might have put the foot down. It might be game on for these two for the rest of the stint. State on very worn tyres, very low fuel, lifting a lot for the Schumacher S, having 3 goes at getting back on throttle. Lucian is there. This is great for the Rust Racing team. He too, he needs to get this move done. It needs to be here. He needs to be at the Vidal chicane. He has to get it done before he gets up onto the Nordschleife, because that'll make it so much harder. Running a little wide, he tucks into the slipstream. State is now right under threat. Can Lucian make it happen? He goes to the outside. He's going to be... Oh, wow, that's great. Tries the double cutback. And then around the outside of the Vidal chicane, not quite. They both made some interesting moves there. Lucian cutting to the inside. State cutting inside her on defence. They are fighting to the death here, but it looks like Lucian's going to have to do it the hard way. Just checking with Heat 8. He's lost ground. Back to State and Lucian. The fight for best AMG. On track right now. Granted, State still needs to pit. So why he's holding up Lucian, I don't know, but he may have decided that he can try and coax Lucian into a mistake. Lucian trying a dive, and that's punted. That's punted. That car has damage. Right front, splitter damage. That was not on. That was absolutely not on. He's launched a dive bomb into that corner and he was never far enough to make it happen. That's going to be a penalty. That was very unnecessary from Lucian. That's, that's not an overtaking opportunity there. Could have waited to here, made a move. That's unfortunate because that's now 10 seconds lost for State. He's now got damage to repair. He's still got a pit. Yeah, it was all pretty messy. Good news for Sonic Marathon in the other Nexus Racing car. He will find that position now before the pit stop, but he does not need to come across his ailing teammate. That's just terrible news for the Nexus Racing team, because now they have to fight the internal politics of, my car's fine, get out of the way, you're damaged. Oh no. Solano doing the job. No damage, just doing nice, consistent laps. Tatov has done his personal best on the last lap, so good news for him. Managing to stay out of the pits for the first time in the 4 laps. Anyway. Yeah, agree with that one, Mr. Sharla. Large oof indeed. That has... Yeah, I mean, that's why I was wondering why State was trying to fight Lucian. He needed to pit still. He could have pit on that last lap, and instead he stayed out, fought a guy, and then got punted. And ultimately, who's it cost? It's cost him and his race and his team. Because it's not about what position Lucian finishes today, it's about what his total race time is relative to the competitors in NLS1 and NLS2 tomorrow if he qualifies. And that could be the difference between that car attending the Nürburgring in 24 hours, July 10 to July 12, or not attending at all. And that would be a really, really sad way to miss out. Fighting a car who has pitted when you haven't, and you're pitting that lap and then getting punted when you really probably should have pitted already. I don't quite understand that one. I really don't understand that one. That's going to be one for the Nexus boys to unpick. Because I really thought State had good pace today. Like, he started that stint, further back than he would have liked. Made good ground. They've had some issues, but I really thought he had the chance to go fast here after a pit stop. And yep, a bit of oversteer there, and the Nexus Racing cars swap positions. Great for Sonic Marathon and that team. And he'll give him a little toe here, which might actually just negate some of that front splitter damage, but oh, that's really costly for him, because he's going to lose, well, he's already lost 14 seconds over Lucian. It's only going to get worse, so he's probably lost 20 seconds plus the time to repair the damage, and that's assuming he doesn't fall off the road anywhere with the aero and steering damage. Oh wow, it's just fallen apart for them. They were looking really strong for having a fightable result, like a really, you know, it may not be a top 5 result, but it could have been quick enough to get them through. But that's just made it a lot harder. Anyway, we'll go back to the fight for 4th place. Just checking in, Fresticcio 20 seconds behind Lugi. Lugi 17 seconds behind Noah Antares. Noah with an 8:01 AAA is flying out front. 8:03.9 for Lugi, but it's Antonio Lari for DC Team and Hide 64 for the Green Hell Racers. We can be a little bit more excited about things again because we are back to seeing high quality racing, high stakes, high quality racing. This is for position 4, and there's still 4 flying full laps, 4 1/4 laps probably to go in this stint. And that could be the difference between a good qualifying result and a bad qualifying result here for MLS1. But I would be very surprised if either of these cars failed to qualify for the Nürburgring 24 hours in 2 weeks' time. This has been a really good pace from these guys. To get beaten by another 10 guys in the second NLS race would require an absolutely stacked field. And I haven't looked close enough to see if that's the case, but Antonio not getting the run off the corner he needs. Hide will be there, and he will be through, most likely with the slipstream. What he does after that, can Hide come back at... can Antonio come back at Hide in the second half of the straight? Almost needs to lift off, tuck in, and get back in the slipstream to try and make something happen. Will go on board, and he hooks straight back in, and straight away, the speed difference is gone. He is quick enough to make a move. He goes to the inside here, but it will be the outside at the bottom of the hill. Go back to TV cameras. It's side by side, and Hide has to yield. So it's much more even contest in terms of straight line performance between these two. Hide with a big slide out of the final corner. That'll cost him. He will not be able to pass. He will be stuck for another lap behind Antonio Lari, unless he can do something particularly special here in the first sector of the Nürburgring GP Strecke. But I don't think he will. It's going to have to be... Ooh, it's a nudge. Wouldn't really be going on with that one. It's a lag bump, yes, but it was definitely a bump. Looks like he's going to have to just hold in. Feigns a move. They go wide. Oh, wow. That's a mistake for Antonio Lari. He got sucked into that one. He just about fell off the road himself, but at the end of the day, no positions gained or lost. But all they're doing so far, they're slowing each other down. Oh, that's another nudge. Getting a little bit touring cars and a little bit less GT3 racing at the moment. Oh, wow. I'll report that in a moment. Hide still gnawing away on the bumper here for Antonio Lari for 4th place. Desperate, and I do mean desperate, to get past the DC Team car for 4th place. But breaking news from race control. It is 4th place now, but it will be for 3rd place in the next stint. The number 6 Tavernello car, driven by Fresticcio 01, will not continue in stint 2. They will then effectively retire here at the end of stint 1, ending their bid, in this race at least, for a Nürburgring 24-hour berth. The Tavernello car will have to try again in NLS2, assuming there is space, to try and qualify for that Nürburgring 24 hours in 2 weeks' time. That is a massive development with the Tavernello car, with their absolute straight line monster, and I swear I didn't commentators curse it. You can't prove it. There is no audio clip of this. You can't clip this. I didn't say anything about commentators cursing and them making the race. I didn't do it, I promise. Oh, that's shocking news for the Tavernello car. That thing is flying. 8:03.7. That's... Oh, 8:01.7 for Lukey. Never mind, that's the quickest car on track. 8:01.8 for Noir and Taras with an 8:01.887 and an 8:88 next to each other. All right, no worries, mate. Just do a thousandth of a second different, like 2 laps in a row. These guys are something else. But Lukey, the fastest car, Fresh Situ, might be the 3rd quickest car. He's basically on par with Hide. But I think he had better longevity. Yeah, 3rd, maybe 4th quickest car at worst in this field so far. Will not be continuing. And now State 509, he's a minute and 7 behind his teammate after taking damage, fuel and tyres. He's only 30 seconds ahead of Isolano, who himself has pitted again on that lap, so he must have also made a mistake. Oh, it's gone horrible for the Scuderia Adriatica team as Tatoff comes in again for damage. Oh, I've exposed him on that one. I don't know when he's done it. It's just front bumper damage, but yeah, that's not good for them. That's really unfortunate. So it's falling apart late in stint 1 for a few guys. Critically, the Tavernello Racing team will lose their opportunity to qualify as number 6 today. We're seeing some real struggle performances from the Scuderia Adriatica and Nexus Racing team having their own dramas, and Lucian for the Rust Racing team spinning out on the formation lap, getting damaged, being forced to take an early pit stop, and then ending up behind State 509 in the Nexus Racing car and then getting involved in the collision. I don't know how they'll manage to convince the stewards that that was a racing incident, because it sure looked like a dive bomb that ended up with one car in the fence, and generally those are not well looked upon. But they'll have more angles and less latency than I have, so maybe it looked a lot better from their perspectives and it wasn't as desperate a dive. And that's the thing we always have to remember, that the commentator's perspective is always a latency perspective, so things always look, any contact looks way, way worse. So we'll have to just bear that in mind. It didn't look good live, but that's not to say that it actually wasn't okay from the various drivers' cockpits. Once again, watching Hide trying to keep Antonio Lari in sight and under control, but unfortunately not close enough here on the run up to Carousel on that uphill run, doing about 250 odd kilometers now into the high-speed left-handed heart attack-inducing corner. Car behind it always loses ground there because you've got that dirty air making it very challenging. Oh, geez, Antonio making it very wide on the run here into the Carousel. I think Track Design Racing will be very happy to see Lukey with the quickest lap. They would probably have felt a little bit worried with how quick Noir and Taras has been today, but having fastest lap will probably have them a little bit more confident that that car is quick enough. They have got the package, and the best part is they've still got a whole stint to play with. Another 2 hours of racing after this. So we're talking about, lap 16 is the end. It's only the halfway point for NLS1. We've still got another 2 hours of racing continuing on this stream, uninterrupted, with a different streamer in a different lobby. So again, thanks to the Endurance Racing Federation for hosting live driver swaps for endurance racing here in Gran Turismo. That is an incredible effort. A lot of work goes on behind the scenes, especially with our producer Jaeger doing a lot of things to make this broadcast possible. So thanks again to those guys for providing a really high quality product. Oh, big slide there from Antonio. He's 2 seconds down on this lap compared to his best. He's starting to struggle. That tyre wear he was probably saving a little bit earlier, it's starting to come into play and it's starting to affect him. He's trying to break away. He knows he has to be further ahead of Hide if he wants to make it happen. But Hide knows if he's close enough, he will get past. But he knows if he's too close, he will get repassed. Oh, good news. Commentator for Stint 2 includes Jaeger, a very, very funny individual. So you'll get some very interesting interesting commentary on the mic in Stint 2 to bring us home. So he can tell you how great he is in person, as they are nose to tail through mini carousel. Slightly better run for Antonio, but it's 5/10. Can they both stay on the road here in the high-speed corner onto the Dottinger? Looks good for Antonio. looks good for Hide. And it's 5/10, and it will be a fight down the Dottinger Höhe straight. Here we go. He's caught him in a much better place this time. It's much later in the straight and around to the outside, which will become the inside, but he'll have the overspeed to make it happen. Hide gets the job done for now. We will now go through the final corner, and Antonio will have a right of reply. Oh, he's gone up the inside, bit of contact, keeps it in the straight line, but they are now nose to tail, and it's going to be a fight down into turn one. Antonio probably dived a little bit deep, not realizing the dirty air would affect him so much in the braking zone. What will happen into turn one? Will Antonio lunge? Aims up the inside, but doesn't lunge. Hide looks deep. He'll try for the switchback. Oh, gets good drive. Slides. Oh, they're both getting wheel spin. It's not quite enough. Antonio hasn't got the job done. He is unable to make the switchback happen as he got a big oversteer. Hide with a smaller oversteer, just doing enough to keep the car ahead. Antonio's not done though. He is so quick to the apex. Hide is going to be under pressure for the entire GP Strecke, and that's assuming it's even solved by the end of the GP Strecke. We've still got the whole Nordschleife and 3 more racing laps to go. Oh, running a bit wide there. He's going to be towing Antonio all the way up the hill. Antonio probably feeling a bit of oversteer. Will now have a really nice balanced car with the front aero wash off the Lexus in front. Oh, running a little bit. It looks like it's mid-corner. It's that medium-speed corner. He's just eating Antonio for breakfast there. It's up to 7/10. He's going to be still probably too close to break away for that first part of the Nordschleife. Oh, look deep. That was deep for Antonio. And that's it. That's the slipstream broken for now. DC Team is now dropped to 5th place. That is 5th place in this stint, but it will be 4th place overall when the second stint resumes. As a reminder, the Tavernella Racing number 6 of Fresciccio will be unable to continue in Stint 2 and will thus retire from NLS 1. So that is now 4th and 5th becoming 3rd and 4th overall. And they are a minute off the lead. Reminder, that gap is preserved. They will still be in the hunt for the win because anything can happen. Anything can happen at second stint. All you have to do if you're at the front here is just plug around. It doesn't matter if you finish anywhere near the front, so there's a good total time. That's all you have to look at is your total time. You can give up a position, lose 10 seconds to them, so long as it's only 10 seconds. There's no benefit finishing ahead of them 15 seconds slower than if you just let them through. Because tomorrow's NLS will probably decide that fight was worthwhile or not. So track position means that yes, that's one car that's slower than you, but it might be 3 cars that are faster than you tomorrow. And that's the art of that's a real question in this race because we don't know how that's going to play out. We don't know how tight the fields are to know if being more sure that you were ahead of one car today is worth being slower tomorrow, or is it just focus on total race time? The logic says focus on total race time is the way, but maybe you just needed to be, there was no one fighting you. You're fighting for what was effectively 14th place overall, and that could be the difference. And we can see Antonio now 2.7 down on Hide. Let's have a look here. We've got Mr. T has passed Shadow. Has Shadow got damage? No. It was just on the previous lap. He was quicker. So Mr. T up into 7th place. Lucian with 805. He's still catching these guys, but on the last lap, they were very similar in pace. So Mr. T and Shadow have been going at it for the last 2 laps, and I haven't noticed with the fight of Hide and Antonio and Lucian and State 5-0. So this is going to be interesting. This is great news for TDR. They will be so thrilled to come back in 6th, ahead of GT Finlanders, not too far behind Antonio and Hide. They will be so proud of what Mr. T's managed to do here today. As our producer is pointing out, the next driver for the TDR team, number 2, is a very, very quick driver. So them being this close already means that that driver will have to do very little work to find themselves in a very competitive place. So that's great news for them. Not so great news for everyone else. They probably would have hoped Mr. T would have been back in 8th or 9th, another 20-30 seconds back, meaning that the next driver for that car has to do a lot of work to try and drag them back into that top 7, leaving them a very nervous wait for the finishing times of NLS2 to be compared. But by the looks of things, they will be A-OK today and A-OK tomorrow based on where they are already. But again, anything can happen. A very quick driver can make one mistake, lose 30 seconds, cost himself a pit stop, and suddenly he's lost a minute and he's lost a stack of positions. So just going back through, Lucian doing a very quick time for the Rust Racing team. I did not notice that Nürburgring with 801.0 has stolen back fastest lap from Lugi in the TDR car. Lucian holding 25 seconds over Sonic Marathon, who is still plugging away, doing his lovely 810s, 809, 811, doing exactly what he had to do, which was nice consistent lap times, to try and get that Nexus car to qualify. His teammate unfortunately involved in an incident, losing, a good 50 seconds. And an 840, because the pit stop, he lost a good, probably 40 seconds, I should say, with a crash and some damage. And he's now on for a PB, but doing 808s a minute behind your teammate instead of just doing 810s. Granted, it wasn't his fault that he was crashed into. Strategy decision maybe made that one possible when it shouldn't have. Anyway, he's only 38 seconds ahead of Isolano, who recently pitted for damage, unfortunately. But he's going again and looking strong. Tateoff in the other Scuderia Adriatica car getting damage as he enters the Nordschleife. That was a very unfortunate slide. That was a very badly timed moment to cut to him as he gets just... The car unweights through there. It's very bumpy and it's off camber when you're down on the apex there. So the thing unloads the rear and you'll spin very easily. As you saw, that was a very, very gentle spin, but because the car just does whatever it wants, he's just bumped into the guardrail. It's given him damage, and that's all she wrote. There's not much you can do about it. It's such a sad way to get damage because you didn't really make a big mistake. It didn't really hit the wall that hard. You can plow the wall at 200 kilometers an hour and you get front splitter damage and a front left damage. He got front splitter damage just the same for a 10k an hour bump with the wall. That's so unfortunate for Tateoff in the Scuderia Adriatica car. He, as a producer's saying, he is pretty cursed today. He has had horrible luck with tiny little mistakes seemingly making damage. Poor bloke. He's going to have, a very disappointed team tonight, because that's the thing, this isn't even over. They could still come back in that second stint. Anything can happen to the guys around him, but that's unfortunately going to be a lot of luck needed to go the other way. So at least Tateoff is cursed. Hopefully the Scuderia Adriatica car, now that I can get their name right, cars have a better run in the second half. Isolano within touching distance of a couple of positions, so all is not lost. They are capable of making up a couple of spots here and getting themselves back into a reasonable position. Whether the total time is good enough, we don't know, but we will have to wait until after NLS2 to know. In theory, only the top 2 drivers in this race are safe, because we have 12 scheduled runners in NLS2. If that changes with the Tavanello car having to run in NLS2, that makes it 13 runners, and therefore only the winner is safe. If anyone else tries to rerun and we end up with 14 cars, nobody is safe. You'd be very unlucky in the top 3 or 4 to miss out, but it's possible. As we see Lucian with another 8055. He had such good pace today. Had he got away... the lap in qualifying that he just... The lap in qualifying he deserved, as well as not having damage on that outlap. We don't know still on that warm-up lap if that was a driver error or if that was lag or if someone else made an error to cause that crash. So we don't know. That could be some discussion that happens later on and someone else gets handed a penalty. But if that is a driver error, that has been very costly because he has great pace. 805s should put him in that top 5. And he's been doing 805s reliably. Like that, look at this, 10, 11, 13, and 14 are all 805s. 8055, 8055, 8052, 8055. He is incredibly quick. Mr. T's done one 805 and has now lost the position to Shadow again. I apologise to GT Finlanders and to Track Design Racing. I have managed to miss all of the good stuff happening between you two. Between the Shadow and Mr. T. That's very unfortunate. I am so sorry, guys. I've missed all the good content. This is why being a director is so much easier. It's much harder than being a commentator, and I'd rather just be a commentator. But Shadow, they're going very quickly, even on this lap. So, Antonio, he's doing 810s and 811s now. It's a little conservative. I wonder if he's just looking after the car and worrying about giving off to the next teammate in a reasonable enough position instead of fighting for every last bit of lap time. But it just proves, though, he's doing, nothing particularly crazy, and he's in 5th place. Now, granted, he was running 3rd early on, but a good qualifying time, and then just strong race pace has been enough to get that car into 5th place, 10 seconds clear of 6th and 7th, and 20 seconds clear of 8th. So he's given his team a real chance to qualify for this race. Looks like Mr. T is not done. He is absolutely adamant that he wants the blood of the GT Finlanders on his hands, at least in his stint. A reminder, we are only racing to half distance for NLS1. Oh, yellow flag. For what? It's Antonio. He's disconnected, surely. No! He's made an error. Antonio's binned it. The DC team car has crashed with 1.5 laps to go, just out of foxhole. It's gone through the left-hander and looped. Absolutely massive front damage, massive front left damage. Yellow flag. He has gone from a very comfortable 5th place and is now 7th. Everything is back on the table. Luciano be coming. Now, decision time at DC team. Does he pit? Does he stay out? Can he get through one more lap faster than pitting? Surely he can, but at what cost? That car will be undrivable. But the only thing he's got going for him, he's got another 4 minutes to work out if this car can get around in a better shape or if he needs to repair the damage. Oh, this is changing the complexity of this qualifying race live. The car that was running 3rd for so long, he was cruising around, driving safe, and he's made an error here. Now it matters that he's doing 810s. It matters that he hasn't got the pace, because that car is wounded. It's lost 17 seconds, and Lucian is now in 8th. He is, oh no, from wide, just hangs onto it. Oh, don't do anything silly. He did something silly, but got away with it. Antonio tried to give him room, but doesn't quite have the control he wants, and Lucian slides up into 7th place for the Rust Racing team. And reminder, with the Tavanello car out, this, in Stint 2 at least, this is now a 6th position for the Rust Racing team. Rust Racing team are suddenly back in the game. Granted, there is probably a collision investigation hanging over them, but when this all shakes out, the Tavanello car is retired. The DC team car is going to be behind them. That is the leading Italian car from the back of the grid, basically. The Rust Racing team car will be the leading Italian car at the end of Stint 1 of NLS1. Nobody saw that coming based on being backwards on the formation lap. That is fantastic recovery. That's what pace does. That's what consistency does. But again, we have to remember there is probably an investigation pending, and we will not know until after NLS2, most likely, if that penalty is handed down or not. So it is going to be all question marks. Oh, dearie me. And Antonio is getting thrashed here. He's lost so much time. Oh, he's lost 8 seconds. Now Sonic Marathon is catching him fast enough. Wow. Antonio has to make a decision here. Is he going to stay out? I think he's AI driving. I think he's auto-driving. Because no human drives like this, even with a damaged car. Race stewards, is that legal? Because granted, he's losing time, hand over fist. He's lost, 20 seconds or whatever since he crashed. But Sonic Marathon here is now flying along. So Nexus are about to jump up into 8th place, which is going to become 7th place. So it looked all but lost for Nexus, but just staying clean is going to net them back into 7th place. And in theory, which is a top half finishing result, makes qualifying more than possible now. It's really going to come down to the pace of NLS2, whether they make it or not. But this is huge news for the Nexus Racing crew. Granted, it's a real shame that State 509 is not there to also be benefiting. Sorry, I'm in the wrong camera. For Nexus, they could, if without the dramas he had racing Lucian, they really could have had 2 cars likely in the fight. Okay, Antonio's got his hazards off, so I think he's no longer auto-driving. Lukey's in! Lukey didn't have the fuel! He's under-fueled and made an error! Oh, wow, wow, wow! It keeps changing! This race is not done! Lukey has to pit for a drink of fuel. He'll take tyres because he's already there. Granted, he won't make up 4 seconds on this outlap. That's huge! It's cost him the spot to the Tavanello car. So, Prestigio, Tavanello, they're going to finish this stint in 2nd and end up retiring. It has all gone off here. He's now 54 seconds behind the lead. Hide is now within touching distance for the Green Hell races. Everything is changing. And, I had thought that, Spirit. I did wonder if Luigi was going to make it on fuel because I saw he had a red bar, but I didn't want to say anything. And create drama until it became apparent, because that kind of spoils the fun. So Lugie's had to make a 2nd pit stop with 1 racing lap to go, and that's cost him 2nd place. He's now 7 seconds behind. The leader is now 48 seconds clear of the 2nd place car, who will retire at the end of the stint. Hide is 4th, now in 3rd, 15 seconds clear of Shadow, who is still being tailed by Mr. T, which is probably the fight on track that I can actually watch. It's 11 seconds between them and Lucian. Everyone's in desperate fuel drama. Antonio chooses to go around, and that's Sonic on him already. He's lost 40 seconds on this lap with the damage. And it's a move. Sonic Marathon for Nexus Racing goes up into 8th place. DC team are going to be in strife. It's going to come down to that final stint. We're on it was always going to come out the final stint, but it's going to be a massive dig out for the DC team. It looked all but certain that DC team and Tavanello Racing were going to get themselves qualified for the Nürburgring 24 hours in 2 weeks' time. And that is incredible. It has all changed here. And State has lost ground to his teammate. He's got more damage. He's done 8:07.9, which is pretty quick, but he's gone and got front damage here, and he's going to lose even more time. Not what he needed. He needed to be catching Antonio to give his teammates a chance to try and beat the DC team, to get that decent time, to try and qualify. But now they're really looking at 1 car at most here, unless something goes horribly wrong for half the field in NLS2. Isolano's still going, still without any real dramas other than that 1 damage pit stop we saw. Tatoff still going with damage. He pitted on the previous lap and he still has more damage now. So, Scuderia Adriatica not having the best of times. Let's see, Luigi is close. I'm going to leave it with Mr. T and Shadow for a moment. I will have to be right back. So to recap, in motorsport, it is never over until it is over. We have seen P2 run out of fuel and require an extra stop, giving way to position 3, who will retire at the end of this stint. It has also seen position 5 crash out and drop back to 9th place with 2 laps to go. It has seen what is now 7th place run into what is now 10th place and potentially get a penalty. And the best part is we're still seeing on-track action with Shadow and Mr. T likely taking this one all the way to the flag to see who will in fact win position 5 in stint 1 for their teammates to take over and resume hostilities in their own stint, with GT Finlanders fighting the Track Design Racing team. I don't know what to say. This lovely Audi Quattro livery, and he runs wide and kisses the wall. No damage, but it's just not over. It's never over. And I don't know how else to say it. It's simply never over. And that's the beauty of endurance racing. Until you cross that line, it's not over. And we're only in stint 1. We're only in stint 1, granted of 2, but had this been the Nürburgring 24 hours, we would have run out of things to talk about so quickly. No, it's 2 hours in, guys. We've still got 22 more hours. Oh, that's why I love endurance racing, because it's just always happening. And we see Luigi trying his absolute darndest to try and catch Fresicchio in that Tavanello racing car. He'll have a crack at it, but we'll go on board with our race leader, stint 1 victor, with Noah Antares for Clockwork Motorsport, the number 56. He enters the pits for his conclusion of his stint, to hand over to his teammate in the second stint. They will give themselves a 53-ish second lead, because that Fresicchio in the Tavanello car will come flying back. He's in. He's done. And now we see Luigi did get in the slipstream. Fresh is on worn tyres, but he will be ultimately towing Luigi all the way. And then Luigi will not have to worry, because his teammate will come out in fresh air. There will be no Tavanello racing car. Luigi barely gaining. He's doing 280 odd k an hour, barely gaining on the Tavanello racing car. You'll just have to sit there and wait, though. Nothing silly to happen here. Last corner, don't worry about it, champ. Just get it in the pits and worry about it in the next stint. He's going to push him into the pits, basically. So, well done, Fresicchio and Luigi. Oh, jeez, they're basically on top of each other in the... they were nose to tail, I guess, but even in the animations. Wow, they both basically boxed at the same time. We see Hide now. He's done the job. He's coming in. Shadow has kept it ahead of Mr. T. So Green Hell Racing will resume in what is effectively now P3. Fresicchio leaves the room in just pure disgust that his car has to retire. That's unfortunate for him. Shadow makes it in. Mr. T makes it in. Some guys closer on fuel than others. Lucian now only 25 seconds down, almost out of fuel. Sonic Marathon has done a great job to keep this thing only 15 seconds away from Lucian. We'll keep a look at the rest of the guys in a moment. They're all in the box. Lucian now. Oh, apparently I've been saying the GT Finland team wrong. I apologise. The requirement is to butcher driver names, not team names. That's my bad. I'm very, very sorry, Mr. Reisku. Anyway, Sonic Marathon in for Nexus. They are P7. They'll come out P6. And they have a massive 30-second lead over Antonio Lari in the DC team. And they will be away in the second car. So Nexus has pulled themselves into a reasonable position here with a 30-second lead over the Italian squad, which still only is P8 ultimately. Well, it's P7 because they disconnect. The Tavanello car has left the race, which technically gives it its position. So this is effectively P9, and he's got a full minute ahead of State 509, who now has rear bumper damage or rear wing damage to go with his front splitter damage. And he's just testing the grass out while he's at it. And that's into the lane box for him. Isolano, with that one extra damage pit stop costing him 20 seconds, would have been the difference between being on top of State 509 for the Scuderia Adriatica team. They would have been right on top of the Nexus Racing team in the second stint, but unfortunately, I'm so sorry to the GDFR boys. That's crazy, I'm so sorry. You're too good and too quick to be disrespected like that. I have to apologise. Anyway, State 509 for Nexus Racing. It sort of fell apart for him in this second stint. He was looking really, really good in that first stint. Enters the pit lane to finish his stint. Love the new cinematics of the pit lane rather than just staring at the pit box waiting for people to appear. And Isolano gets it down to 16 seconds into the pit box himself. State's done, Nexus is done, Scuderia Adriatica into the box for them, and finally it is Tate-Off. PE26, the second Scuderia Adriatica car. He's just come through the carousel and he's on his way down to mini carousel to try and bring home that car and hand over to his teammate. So probably not the screen time the Scuderia boys would have hoped for, but at the end of the day, their lovely livery is getting some coverage. Lovely, I quite like the livery, honestly, with the white, grey